Welcome back to another react. The long-awaited second Punic War is about to approach us. I'm really excited to see who's gonna win this war here. I saw some comments and some people said there were 3 wars, and I'm like, what? How does it continue? But no spoilers. We'll see. I mean, wait, can I say that? No spoilers. I mean, I guess it's like, huh. Well, I never heard about Punic Wars. Yeah, so we're gonna be continuing that. I remember last we left off, the guy gave birth to a little baby boy, and the baby boy was named Hannibal, and apparently he's the GOAT. But I'll have to be the judge of that. There is mold on my fucking desk. Holy shit! Oh my god! Sorry, I'm looking, chat. Wow, what? Can sugar mold, chat? My cookie I left for a week is molded.
What?
Anyways. Alright, no spoilers, chat. Let's go ahead and get started on watching this.
This video was
No spoilers for something that happened in the BCs. Shut up! Shut up!
by NordVPN. Click the link below and get an exclusive deal with 4 extra months. Also,
4 extra
check out the merch
months?
store for some new character pins,
Yeah,
the
merch.
last remaining bucket plushies, and even a calendar. And I'm not done yet. We've partnered with U2s to bring you an exclusive oversimplified Roman consul figure. Get it while
That's
you
cute.
can at
That's really cute, actually.
oversimplified.youtube.com. But it's limited edition, so once it's gone, it's gone. So go and buy it now.
Yeah, merch.
Hey,
check it out.
What are you still doing here? I said go and buy it now.
Okay, we're going. Someone in chat said, bro, you had thousands of years to learn the lore? I've been alive for like 20, man. Leave me alone. I don't know. I did not have thousands of years to learn the lore. Do you think I'm do you think I'm ancient? How old do you think I am? Alright, let's go.
All right, our beloved mercenaries. Let's hear it. Okay, thank you one and all for your hard work fighting in the first Punic War. Would have been nice if you won. Maybe tried a little harder. But this isn't the finger-pointing convention. I know you all have one thing on your minds. Hey, when are we all getting paid?
Yeah!
Remember you lost your... Okay. Jim, why don't you tell them? I'm not telling them, you tell them. Ugh. Look, you're not getting paid. What? We lost the first Punic War and owe the Romans a ton of reparations. Of course we can't pay you in full. Let's burn this place to the ground!
Yeah, wait, what? Why can't they get paid? Can't they, like, trade and make money? I don't know, they still fought in war. I'd be so angry. I would also cause an uprising.
Hey! Don't burn this place to the ground. Come on, fellas. Will killing us really make you feel better about your money? Yes.
Whoa!
Way to go, sir. Shut up, Jim. You're
Oh my
fired. I guess that
God!
makes 2 of us. Huh?
The second Punic Wars. I can't believe it comes back.
Of the first Punic War, Carthage's disgruntled mercenaries, left unpaid for all their hard work, revolted, and Carthage found itself caught up in an extremely destructive mercenary war. The panicked Carthaginians hired more mercenaries to fight the mercenaries they couldn't afford to pay, and Carthage came dangerously close.
What the fuck? Why didn't they just pay them in the first place? Literally, like what that little guy said. Where did that money come from? Must have pulled it out of their butthole.
To collapse. All the while, across the water, there was Rome. Ha! Look at those morons. We just kicked their ass in the first Punic War, and now their own mercenaries are revolting. Haha. Yeah. Wait, first Punic War? You mean there's gonna be a second one? Well, we're definitely taking advantage of this situation. So almost certainly, yes. The Romans did, in fact, take advantage of this situation. Amongst the chaos, rebels on the Carthaginian island of Sardinia sent out a cry for help to Rome. Hot diggity dog, said the Romans. That's free real estate. And so in they went. Whoa!
Holy shit, that was a real history quote. Hot diggity dog.
Whoa. That's our island. Get the hell off. Hey, they requested our help. We're simply helping. Oh, no, you don't. Look, we're sending our own army to deal with the rebels, okay? But just to be clear, we're not trying to start a fight with you, so, don't declare war on us or anything. War! We surrender! Great. And as part of the peace treaty, we get to keep these islands.
What?
The Carthaginians were hopping mad. As if their humiliating loss in the First Punic War wasn't bad enough, the Romans now took advantage of their mercenary problem and stole their islands. This
Wait, that's so evil, isn't it? Like, whoa, they're already down. They're gonna kick them even downer? Well, I guess that's war for you.
shocking land grab was pretty hard to justify, even by Roman standards. Additionally, the Romans now demanded Carthage pay them even more money on top of what was already owed. If Rome was
What the fuck? I love that Rome has a big cock here. You see the long schlong and balls? This just really show how big of a dick move that was. I'm pretty sure that's what Oversimplified intended.
trying to make Carthage as mad as possible, they were doing a fantastic job. The seeds of a second
Rage
Punic
bait.
War were being sown, and they were being watered with Carthaginian tears. Resentment in Carthage only continued to grow. Eventually, Carthage solved their mercenary problem thanks to Carthaginian military genius and hero of the First Punic War, Hamilcar Barca. He sorted those naughty mercenaries out with some good old-fashioned atrocities, and the destructive mercenary war was over.
Dang!
Still, all was not well in Carthage. Mere decades ago, they were the top dogs in the Western Mediterranean. Now, after the crushing defeat in the First Punic War and a huge bill to pay the Romans, Carthage was well and truly under Rome's thumb.
Dang!
What on earth were they supposed to do? If they wanted any chance at regaining their former strength, there was one thing they needed now, more than anything: money. But as long as they owed
I was about to say guns, but maybe that was too American. Like, chat, if they had guns, they would win the war, wouldn't they? They'd be way ahead of their time.
Rome $1 bazillion, there was nothing they could do. Fortunately for them, amongst their ranks, there was one big hunk of a man with one big clump of a brain. Me, Hamilcar Barca. Yes. Wait, why do you all have the exact same voice? I have it too. That's right. Hero of the First Punic War, greatest general alive, and the poster above my bed. Hamilcar Barca had an idea. All right, we need money? Well, I've got one word for you: Spain. An area filled with lucrative.
Wait, what the fuck? Sorry, I know. Sorry, whoa. Did you guys notice the guy was in his underwear on the poster in Oversimplified's room? Whoa. You guys should replay and look at that. The balls are pretty. I know what he is. I know what he is.
Silver mines from which the silver would flow like a river, and our pockets would be stuffed like Tony's mother at a buffet. Hey, so here's my proposal. You send me with an army to Spain. I'll expand our territory, get those silver mines up and running, and we'll be able to pay the Romans back in no time.
We'll be rich.
Okay. But just to check, you're not secretly raising the money to go on a bloodthirsty revenge spree against Rome, are you? Because we can't afford that. Hanno, my dear, I'm simply going to pay them back. Well, that was reassuring. Few in Carthage were as bitter about their loss in the First Punic War as Hamilcar Barca. 98% of his brain matter had been reallocated to thoughts of revenge. He was also fed up with the Carthaginian politicians for what he deemed a cowardly betrayal when they surrendered at the end of the last war. And so for Hamilcar, going to Spain meant being able to act independently from the weak Carthaginian government, building his own strength, and then perhaps somewhere down the line, revenge.
Yeah.
However, he wasn't going to Spain by himself. Hannibal? Yes, father? Would you like to come with me to build an empire in Spain? Oh boy, would I! Barbara, mind if I take our 9-year-old son with me? I want to implant an intense hatred of Rome in him and prepare him for a glorious campaign of vengeance. Just try not to traumatize him, dear. No promises. The young boy Hannibal would accompany his father, watching, learning.
Did he actually bring a 9-year-old and raise him with hatred? Father of the year.
Boy, you see that city over there? Yes, Father?
This is cinematic.
Is Rome. Do you know what we do to Romans? No, Father. We hate them, Hannibal. We hate them with every fiber of our being.
Oh my
But why, Father?
god!
Can't I just play with my Digimons? No, son! They took everything from us. Our land, our wealth, our pride. Those animals. I'll tear them limb from limb. I'll burn their pathetic city to the ground. Dad? I'm sorry, son. I've just never been so proud. Keep going. I'll slaughter their people. I'll cut off their faces and wear them as masks. I love you, son. After taking Hannibal to the Temple of Baal and having him swear an oath never to be a friend of Rome, off Dad and son went for their lovely beach holiday in Spain.
Holy crap! He made his little baby boy promise not to friend a Roman? That is crazy. That is so crazy hatred. That guy is like 5. It doesn't even know it's alive.
But Spain was already inhabited by many tribespeople. And when Hamilcar suddenly showed up in their territory, they were like, "Hey, who the hell are you? What are you doing here? I'm teaching my son how to become a warrior like me." Aw, well that's sweet. Well then, little guy, let's see what you got.
Dang!
As Hamilcar
He's
got
a
to work
tongue.
fighting the tribes of Iberia and expanding Carthaginian influence,
Wait, what? Is he still 9, chat? Like, oh, I'm serious. I'm so dead ass. He's still tiny in the drawing. Is he still 5 taking over this place or what? What?
Hannibal became a child of war, even
Oh
earning
my
battle scars
God.
from a young age. And he grew to become a great military leader himself, making his
Whoa,
father
he grew up so
very
fast.
proud. I love you so much, son. Dad, not in front of the enemy. You killed that guy so well, son. The Barcas successfully consolidated Carthaginian power, got those silver mines up and running, and were sending buckets of cash back to a money-starved
Dang.
Carthage. And symbolizing Carthage's regrowing strength, a beautiful new city would eventually be founded in Spain. New Carthage, with a magnificent palace at its center. Carthage is back, baby! What in the name of Apollo
Epic.
is going on here? Ah, Romans! Flowing silver mines? Dancing elephants? What are you up to, Hamilcar? I'm simply gathering the money to pay you back. Oh, okay then. Or are you rebuilding strength to go on a bloodthirsty revenge spree? Like I said, Claudius, I'm simply trying to pay you back. Aw, you guys are hugging.
Yowie.
I was hugging. Hamilcar had practically carved out a kingdom for himself in Spain, free from the meddling Carthaginian politicians. His power was becoming immense. But Dad, yes, my son? I'm confused. Are we really simply paying the Romans back? We're not gonna go on a bloodthirsty revenge spree? Of course we are. I'm just saying that to get the Romans off our backs. Listen, here's the most important life lesson I have for you. Vengeance is everything. An all-encompassing thirst for vengeance is great for your mental health. Are you still confused? No, I get it now. But what if the Romans find out what we're up to? They won't find out. Why? Well, Hannibal, because I use NordVPN.
Yo!
I'm confused again. Do you like your computer being hacked? All your
I love the way
passwords being
OverSimplified
stolen,
puts his
and used
ads
to create
in.
a fake virtual you who drains your mom's bank account? Me neither. And that's why I use NordVPN. These days, hackers are only getting smarter, while you're only getting dumber. Whether it's convincing phishing attacks, fake Wi-Fi networks, or clicking your aunt's Facebook post
I
that
don't
opens the
use
door to a
NordVPN.
hacker
Has anyone
party
chat
on your
used
device,
it?
you need to protect yourself from online threats with NordVPN. NordVPN allows you to connect to secure servers that encrypt your data and keeps you safe by blocking malicious websites with their threat protection feature. With NordVPN, you can
Is it
also
easy to
connect to
use?
other territories
I was
and
thinking
take
about
advantage
it.
of better deals or content not available in your country. And if you don't like it, it comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. So go to nordvpn.com/oversimplified to get an exclusive deal with a huge discount and 4 extra months.
Yes,
That's
howdy.
nordvpn.com/oversimplified. OverSimplified.
Not
And as
BPA,
always,
guys.
You'll be supporting my channel. So
Thank you. I love
where were we?
OverSimplified's videos. Check out that link chat.
Carthaginian tears, a child of war, and the Carthaginian conquest of Spain. The Carthaginian recovery had been staggeringly quick, and Rome was seriously alarmed. But they
Dang.
were also preoccupied with ongoing wars elsewhere, including an expansionist war to the north, where they were enslaving thousands of northern Celts. So for now,
Dang.
to keep Carthage in check, the Romans insisted on a new treaty. See this river? The two sides agreed that everything above it was in Rome's sphere of influence, while beneath it was Carthage. Under no circumstances were the Carthaginians to expand north of.
Wait, what? Wait, what? Why can Rome say that? Did they own that land? Does this land belong to no one? I feel like the Romans don't treat the Carthaginians well. Well, I guess they were at war with each other. And they slaughtered each. Okay, well, actually, yeah, then that makes sense. Let's continue.
That river. But for now, Hamilcar and son were living it up. Well, son, here's to many more years of successful campaigning in Spain. Now,
Aw.
if you'll excuse me, I
Water
just have to
son
go
stuff.
fight those guys. See you later, son. I love you.
What the fuck?
What the? Oh, crap. I drowned? Oh, well. Always
He drowned? I swear he got impaled.
remember, son. You are vengeance.
Damn.
Also, delete my browsing history. Hamilcar Barca was tragically ambushed at a river and drowned. His son-in-law, and possibly also his lover, no further questions, took charge for a while, but he too was later assassinated.
Alabama? Dang.
Leaving finally at 26-year-old Hannibal in charge of the Carthaginian armies in Spain. Sources say the men readily accepted him as their leader. He chose to suffer the
Easy.
same hardships as his men. He lived in the same conditions, was often the first into battle and the last one out. And it also helped
Aw.
that he looked a lot like his dad. He had the total respect of his men. If he said jump, they said how high. If he said tuck me in, they said how tight. If he said talk to a girl without peeing your pants, they said that's impossible. Nobody can do that. An army that would follow him anywhere would be crucial for exacting his vengeance against Rome.
I love how happy the little guys are. I think they're really cute. Makes me forget that they're gonna go out and kill a bunch of people.
Hannibal's army had become a strong and loyal fighting force, and that was making a certain nation very uncomfortable. Seeing Carthage re-strengthen so quickly was not something Rome had expected. Yet here they were, paying off their debts and expanding their territory. It didn't feel very much like Carthage was under Rome's thumb at all, and Rome wanted to put an end to it. Tensions were strung tighter than your liar's G-string, and all it would take was one incident to trigger all-out war. And in 219 BC,
Dang.
a city in Spain would find itself at the very center of that fateful incident, Saguntum. Remember that treaty declaring everything south of this river to be Carthage's sphere of influence? Well, Saguntum should therefore obviously be Carthaginian, right?
Yeah.
Wrong! Saguntum
Oh.
had actually scored itself an informal alliance with Rome after Rome had helped it with an internal dispute. With Carthaginian encroachment, Saguntum began to fear for its independence, and Rome declared itself Saguntum's protector.
Damn, bro. Rome is like, they got such a big heart on for the Carthaginians or so whatever, man. Like, damn, they hate them. They hate to see them doing well, and they wanna burn it all down.
But this clearly went against the Ebro River Treaty. So what on earth was Rome doing? Were the Saguntines and the Romans truly just BFFs? It's possible. Or was Rome deliberately trying to interfere with Hannibal's Spanish expansion and maintain a staging
Dun, dun,
post for a
dun.
future war with Carthage? More likely. And Hannibal certainly viewed this Rome-Saguntum alliance as an outrage. Yet another example of Roman arrogance. At first, he left Saguntum alone, But having learnt from his father to hate all things Roman, and having inherited his father's dream of bringing Rome to its knees more and more, Hannibal may have begun to see Saguntum as an opportunity. Could this controversial alliance be just what devilish little Hannibal needed to kickstart a second war with Rome and restore Carthaginian dominance? It's even possible that Rome were also using Saguntum to goad Hannibal into a fight so they could go and kick him out of Spain. And as the two giants began gearing up for round 2, the poor people of Saguntum had no idea that they were about to be crushed in the collision. Hey!
No! I didn't think about the poor people of Saguntum. They're about to get caught in the dick fight between the Carthaginians and the Romans. They need protection too. They're just a little guy. I feel so bad.
Your alliance with Saguntum is an insult, and we won't stand for it. They're our friends, Hannibal, and if you lay a finger on them, it'll be an act of war. Yeah, Hannibal, back the hell off. War, eh? I was thinking I might just besiege their city and massacre their people. I hope you do, Hannibal. Find out what happens. Yeah, we hope you do, Hannibal. Wait, what? Maybe I will. Go ahead, kill them all. Okay then. Fine. Okay, guess I'll do just that. Consul, we look forward to it. Consul, you're gonna protect us though, right, Consul? Consul!
Run!
Oh no! To top it all off, when the Saguntine people made
They're actually
the
gonna do
genius
it.
decision of raiding into Carthaginian territory,
I'm dead.
Was enough. In an action that was guaranteed to provoke the Romans into war, Hannibal besieged the city. The siege of Saguntum lasted 8 cruel months before Hannibal broke through the city defenses and turned Saguntum into a killing field. It
Oh my
was
gosh.
a massacre.
Blood!
Tell me I didn't just catch you massacring our friends, the Sugantes. Well, Consul, if you like the Sugantes so much, perhaps you should sug on these nuts.
I wasn't ready for that. That was pretty good. I hope he actually said that in war.
Hearing word of the attack on Saguntum, Rome was understandably in an uproar, and all eyes were now fixated on what would happen next, as Rome sent a delegation to Carthage, led by one of the most highly esteemed Roman senators, Fabius Maximus. He demanded an answer for Hannibal's sins. All right, listen up, scum. You've got a rogue general in Spain attacking a Roman ally. What are we supposed to do about it? Well, there shouldn't have even been a Roman ally in Spain. You're the aggressor here. Hand Hannibal over to us as a criminal so we can punish him severely. No, yes, no, no. Look, I hold in the folds of my toga both peace and war. Which one shall I let drop? Whichever one you want. Then
Is he dropping his balls? Oh my god. The Rome did not have underwear, huh? I don't think underwear got invented until like the 19,000s or something.
I choose.
Yeah! I'm shocked. Oh my god, what the fuck? That was epic. I wanna rage war like that.
The Second Punic War had begun.
A Chad.
Pack it up, boys. We've got him. We already destroyed these clowns once, and we were the underdogs. Now, we're the overdogs? Hot dogs. Exactly. This is gonna be easy. Here's the plan. Consul Longus, you take your army and sail straight for Carthage. Burn that city to the ground. And Consul Scipio, you just head on over to Iberia and make sure this Hannibal guy doesn't do anything crazy. I mean, what's he gonna do? Cross the Alps?
What?
We're going to what? Cross the Alps.
That's crazy. Is that even possible? When I try to cross the Alps in Skyrim, I die and kill 10 horses. I can't imagine people actually doing it. Whoa.
We're going to what? I just told you. Hannibal will freeze to death. Trust me, Jerome. The Romans
Trust
are
me,
expecting
bro.
us to fight the same way we did last time. passively, taking no initiative. They think it's gonna be easy.
I see it.
So this time, we have to be aggressive. We have to go on the attack. It sickens me to say this, but this time, we have to be a little more Roman.
Yeah!
You mean we're gonna take poops and baths together? But I'm insecure about my hairy legs. No, I'm saying this time, we're gonna take the fight to them. Think about it. Rome thinks they're simply going to invade us and win the war. So when they suddenly find themselves being invaded from the north, they'll freak out. Like Tony's mother, when the buffet runs out of shrimp. Hey! I gotta admit, it's actually kind of genius. And my hairy legs will insulate me from the cold. That's the spirit.
Dude, I say that exact same thing. I like to leave my leg hairy during the winter to keep me warm. But then everyone just thinks I'm a freak. Like, what? No, it makes sense. I'm like a bear.
Hannibal, you have my sword, and my spear, and my legs. Ugh.
Yo!
Hannibal's plan, a daring alpine trek to surprise the Romans, was a bold but risky strategy. If it paid off, he could catch the Romans with their
I'm
pants
dead.
down, but he could also end up losing a ton of men and supplies in the hostile mountain conditions. Nevertheless, in 218 BC, with a fire in his eyes and some vengeance in his belly, Hannibal brought his force of almost 100,000 men across the Ebro River. They spent months on the road, trekking through the cold, hostile mountain conditions.
That's
and when
crazy.
They finally reached
For the
other
ultimate
side,
flank.
They said, "Hooray! We did it! We crossed the Alps." No, those were the Pyrenees. Those are the Alps.
I was gonna say, well, they got to the Alps so easily. That's so funny. That's so sad.
After crossing the Pyrenees, the army then had to pass through southern Gaul, a vast territory filled with tribespeople, many of whom were hostile to Hannibal's presence. His journey to the Alps was an ordeal in itself, as he
Dang,
was
this is
forced to
epic.
fight his way through and incurred pretty hefty losses before even reaching the mountains. His plan was almost stopped in its tracks entirely, as the Roman consul Scipio, on his way to Iberia, discovered Hannibal was right on his doorstep. Suddenly, Hannibal's journey became a race, as he rushed to get his massive army across the vast Rhone River before the Romans could intercept him. The crossing was chaotic, with the panicking elephants causing several men to drown. And the first combat of the war occurred when small scouting parties from each side encountered one another. When Scipio finally caught up to Hannibal's position, what he found was an empty Carthaginian camp. Hannibal had slipped through his fingers. The Roman consul Scipio felt the weight of the situation. Quite unbelievably, Hannibal was going to cross the Alps into Italy, and the Romans had no idea where he would emerge. For the first time, a Carthaginian force had the Roman homeland under threat. Scipio sent his men on.
Chills, chat, real chills. I'm rooting for the Carthagins, dude. They're the underdogs right now. I want to see the revenge story.
To Iberia as planned, but he himself rushed home to raise a new army so that if Hannibal survived the crossing, Scipio would be there, waiting. Would you look at that, boys? We're here, the Alps. Although it is a little later than I expected. Yeah, it's kind of chilly. We'll set up camp here and wait for spring, right? It's way too cold, right?
Yo!
Hannibal?
This guy might be Canadian. I have a theory. How is he? Why does he want to go there?
Hannibal's famous crossing of the Alps was brutal. It was already autumn, and the men suffered terribly. It was cold. Men would fall off the sides of icy cliffs. They starved. They fell off the sides of icy cliffs. Some sources say they had to eat their pack animals and would finish off dying comrades in order to take their clothes for extra warmth. And
Oh my
then
God.
They would fall off the sides of icy cliffs.
It's really silly. I love that they just fall off the side of icy cliffs.
Imagine an army of 50,000 men with all of their horses, supplies, and 37 elephants trying to navigate the most hostile mountain range in Europe. And it wasn't just nature that they were up against. Tribespeople lived in the mountains, and they couldn't believe what they were seeing. A tribe approached Hannibal and said, "Hey man, geez, that's some nice armor. What is that, gold? Man, I'd really like that armor. Hey boss, they've got food as well. Shut up, be cool. Hey, why don't you let us guide you through this narrow gorge? We're not gonna kill you or nothing. Just walk right on through there. We're not gonna kill you. It's just right this way." We're not gonna kill you. Hannibal's army were forced to fight their way through the gorge as massive boulders rained down on them from above. Some clever reorganization of his line helped them survive, and they were able to fend off the opportunistic tribes. But
dang, that was crazy. Imagine like fucking meteor spells from the sky, but it's like real life. Mortifying. Good job, Hannibal, for, I don't know, getting through that, though.
Losses from the constant attacks were heavy.
He's kind of goated.
As the journey continued, men who went over the sides would get stuck on the ice sheets below and had to make a grisly choice between starving to death or just getting it over with. When the deeply demoralized army reached the summit and rested for a couple days, Hannibal tried to lift their spirits with a rousing speech. "Look, men, down there, it's Rome. These plains stretching out in front of you are bountiful with food to eat and Romans to kill. Move, Bessie! Look, you have just climbed the walls of Rome. The hard part is over. From here on out, it's all downhill, and nobody else will die. Except for them. The rest of us here, no one dies. Starting now." Okay, let's go. Oh, for goodness sake! As it turned out, the descent was as deadly as the way up, with the cold really starting to set in. The path became even more narrow, and at one point, the men spent 3 days in the freezing cold, repairing a collapsed road. When they finally reached the bottom, Hannibal said, "Look, guys, we did it."
I was gonna say, is Hannibal gonna have any men to like kill? What? I'm curious to see what happens.
Well, I thought it went really well. When Hannibal left Spain, he had about 100,000 men. By the time he reached the Italian plains, his numbers had dwindled to about 26,000. He was now caught in enemy territory, without a supply line or source of reinforcements. And any elephants who had survived to this point were almost certainly traumatized. So what on earth was Hannibal up to? This supposed military genius had just led a starving and weakened army right into enemy territory. Any modern general who lost half their men to mountains would be immediately fired and possibly even depanced on live TV. Here's the thing. While Hannibal may not have planned on losing quite so many men, he had almost certainly expected considerable losses, and he always had a plan for how to replace them. Need men? Northern Italy was full of men. Big, burly Celtic men.
Holy shit, they're gonna go shopping!
All the men Hannibal would ever need to beat off Rome. These Celts were filled with resentment,
smart.
having only recently been conquered by Rome.
That's smart!
Hannibal hoped to be seen as a liberator, convince the Celts to cut ties with Rome, and instead join him in crushing Rome. That way, he could gain a source of reinforcements and supplies right in Rome's backyard. But sir, in order to win the loyalty of the Celts, we would need to make a seriously favorable impression on them. How do we get them to like us? Kill them. One of Hannibal's first actions in Italy was to obliterate a nearby tribe who wouldn't join him.
Fair enough.
This sent a clear message to all the other tribes. It was...
Oh, you know what? Yeah, that does send a strong message, yeah. At first I thought he was crazy, but that's kind of smart, yeah.
His wrath they should fear, not Rome's. The realization that a Carthaginian army had just invaded them must have been shocking for the Romans. But when they looked at this ragtag group broken by the Alps, they couldn't have felt very intimidated. However, Hannibal was now in Italy, and he was about to embark on one of the most astonishing military campaigns in all of human history. The Romans may not have known it yet, But there was now a monster loose in their territory, and he was vying for Roman blood.
Blood! Holy crap. Okay, that was part one. Let's head over to part two. Let's head over to part two. Okay, so that was kind of like the setup. I'm excited to see what he does now. I feel like he's kind of smart, you know? I know they kind of brute force the mountain, but I don't know, that strategy to get people to ally with him, I'm seeing the vision. It's improving my IQ, which is almost room temperature. It's actually a bit room temperature. Actually, it is room temperature on summer. Anyways, let's go ahead and continue.
This video was made possible by Incogni. Use code OverSimplified in the link below for an exclusive 60% off an annual Incogni plan. Also, make sure to grab our Roman console U2s before
That's
it's
cute.
too late.
I like the
Don't
U2s.
make me mention it a third time, or I'll you know what.
Yo! No!
Hannibal's army had survived its famous crossing of the Alps, and he was now in Italy. With Hannibal's arrival, the Roman consul Scipio hit the ground running. In typical Roman fashion, he marched his army straight at the enemy, and Hannibal began preparing for his first combat with Rome on Italian soil. Before the battle, Hannibal wanted to inspire his men, so he staged a gladiatorial death match between captured Celt prisoners, with the winner getting prizes and freedom. He then explained that the whole thing was a metaphor. Metaphor? For what? You! These warriors are you! You're trapped in Italy with no escape. Your only choice now is to fight and win. What about the dead guy? That's you if you don't win. And the prizes? That's what you stand to gain by winning. And the fact that I've soiled myself in all this excitement? That... No, that's not part of the metaphor. Okay. Hannibal also smashed in the head of a goat. Again, for inspiration. Scipio on...
I love the way how he inspires his men. I think that'd work personally on me.
the other hand, now arriving in the area, opted for the more classic route of a rousing pre-battle speech. Look at them men.
Pre-battle speech. Leo, thank you so much for the raid. Hi, Raiders. It's nice to see you. Come in, come in. Mochi, inspiring speech for the Raiders? Yes, I have an inspiring speech. I may spill blood. I may kill cities and towns, but all that is to say, glory. But yeah, I'm excited to see where it goes. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and play.
Weak, starved by the Alps, while we are the strongest military in the world. This will be easy, like 10,000 horse-sized ducks fighting a baby-sized baby. It'll be like Mike
Hydrogen bomb versus baby.
Tyson in his prime, kicking a baby. A tug of war between 10 sumo wrestlers and a... Help me out here, Ralph. A baby, sir?
Yes. A baby.
Yes, that's it. A baby. The point is, there is absolutely no possible way we could lose a battle this easy. So, if everybody's ready, on my mark, charge!
Charge! Cute. Yo, what's happening? Dang!
The Battle of Ticinus was over almost as soon as it had begun, as the Romans found themselves completely outmatched by Hannibal's famed lightning-fast Numidian cavalry, a key element in Hannibal's devastating double envelop.
What the fuck? What is a Numidian cavalry? Did they just get Uma Musumes to fight for them instead of the elephants?
Element tactics. In the chaos, Scipio was wounded. Thankfully, according to some ancient writers, his handsome 17-year-old son, Scipio the Younger, saw his father fall. Scipio the Younger supposedly saved his father, and in the process, earned himself a lot of daddy's kisses. The Romans ended up fleeing the area, destroying the bridge behind them as they went. For a nation so overtly confident in victory, believing Hannibal to be an easy kill, the Romans found themselves running away with their tail between their legs.
That's actually impressive.
It was humiliating. And you know who thought so as well? The Celts. They began flocking to Hannibal's side, just as he'd hoped. Even Celtic
Brilliant!
troops fighting for Rome in the Roman camp began to reconsider. Man, I'm thinking we should try to join Hannibal. I hear you. Maybe we should bring him a gift. What do you think he'd like?
The heads of the Romans.
Oh, I know. Hey, Hannibal. We want to join your side and we brought you a present. A gift? For me? I hope it's Roman heads. Oh, please be Roman heads.
Oh my god!
How did you know?
That's so
Running away from
brutal!
Hannibal was humiliating enough, but having dozens of Romans beheaded in the night, now
Damn.
that's embarrassing.
That's some evil shit, dude. Like, dang, bro. Holy crap. Damn, war was brutal back then. They had no laws.
Ticinus had been a relatively small battle, but the psychological impact it had early on was huge, and it was only just a taste of what Hannibal was capable of. Despite the shocking initial loss, however,
Chat, honestly, the psyche is really strong, I feel like. You know when I got stabbed by glass on my hand? I personally felt like, oh, the bleeding will stop. So it did. All you have to do is cope hard enough and it'll come true.
However, Rome still didn't seem to fully understand the danger posed by the monster now loose in their territory. The Senate was full of excuses. It's those traitorous Celts. That's why we lost. Yeah, and it was a cavalry battle.
Me coping.
Wait until Hannibal faces our almighty legions. And our consul was bald. Once he faces our other fully follicled consul, then he'll really pee his pants. That other consul, Longus, had been in the south all this time, preparing to invade Africa. He had seen some success, even capturing Malta. But then he heard the news. Hannibal's in Italy?
Hannibal
and I'm being
won.
ordered home? But I was gonna be the big boy. I was gonna invade Carthage and win the war. Well, you can be a big boy at home. No! Does somebody need a nap, sir? No! No! And so Longus brought his army on the long journey north. When he arrived in the area to decisively neutralize Hannibal, the two consuls joined their forces together, creating a double consular army. But the two consuls weren't exactly on the same page. Having a nice rest there, old man? I'm wounded, Longus. Pathetic. You don't understand. He's more dangerous than we thought. Maybe for you. Whoops. Listen, we can't just march straight at him like we normally do. We need to train our men through the winter, and we'll try again in spring. Sorry, I don't take advice from a bowling ball. Hey, I'll kick your ass, Longus. Any day now. I'm coming. Just you wait. Oh, Scipio, you feeble old man. Scipio was apparently quite cautious after his recent encounter with Hannibal, while Longus, typically Roman, couldn't wait to give Hannibal a swirly. So who would get their way? Well, when two consuls joined their forces, it turned out the Romans had an interesting system in place.
I'm excited to
They would
see it.
each take turns being the one in charge. Consul 1 would lead one day, then Consul 2 the next.
This sounds like a horrible idea. That sounds extremely unproductive.
Back and forth, back and forth. As you can imagine, when the two consuls didn't agree, things didn't go so well. In this case, due to Scipio's injury, Longus probably assumed even more command than normal. Hannibal had Celtic spies in the Roman camp. He fully understood the Roman system and Longus's hot-headed nature, and he knew he could exploit it. For goodness sake! What's wrong, sir? I'm trying to order some pizza.
It's an iPad kid.
Personalized ads about being a hothead. I'm not a hothead, am I? No, sir. Look at this. Butt insurance? Who would buy butt insurance?
Hey, listen, okay. One time a mage cast a spell upon me in which the doctor put their finger up my butt because they asked if I was constipated and I said I don't know. So the consequence was that. Anyway, so whenever you visit a doctor and they ask if you're constipated, you should really think about it. I typically answer I don't know for a lot of things because I don't feel confident, but that really taught me a lesson that day. Anyways. Anyways, they gave me laxatives.
Yeah, that sounds really stupid. Sir, it seems like a lot of data brokers have collected data on you. They could sell that data to Hannibal. What? But don't worry, because you can get rid of that data with today's wonderful sponsor, Incogni. Hooray! I've been getting at you for some time to protect your personal data online.
TMI, Mochi, I'm sorry.
Aren't you? You didn't do it, did you?
I didn't do it.
And now would you look at that? Tons of data brokers have collected
Well,
a
I
heck of a
can't
lot
because
of
I
your
pee every
personal
hour,
data,
chat.
and
It's
would
hard
sell
not
it
to.
third parties like advertisers or insurance companies without you even knowing. Ever wonder where Sally from the Bud Insurance Company got your name, number, address, social security number, and favorite color from? Probably a dirty data broker. We could painstakingly contact the hundreds of brokers that have our data and politely ask them to delete it. That process would only take the average human about 3,000 years. And that's why you need Incogni. I was shocked to find how many data brokers Incogni had tracked, potentially selling my data. But all I had to do was create a...
What do people even do with your data? Does it even like... Mochi would be sponsoring without being sponsored? OverSimplified makes good videos. I don't, check out his... I like his videos. Check out his stuff.
Incogni.com/oversimplified. And as always, you'll be supporting my channel. So thank you. Now, where were we? Roman heads, a double consular armor, and a hothead. Hannibal
Monopoly makes you do that too.
Smashing the Romans in battle in order to maintain the loyalty of the Celts. And so he was eager to fight another battle. The combined Roman force possibly outnumbered him, so he carefully crafted a clever trap, and he made sure to spring it while Longus was still in charge. The plan began with his army getting an early night's sleep. All right, boys, time for lights out.
Eepy!
Sorry, but we got a big day ahead of us. Tomorrow, we're gonna massacre the Romans. Good night, boys. Dream of revenge. Gorzog, send out the cavalry.
What? Wait, did they have like part 13 sleeping, the other part? Whoa, wait, okay, whoa, sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm imagining what he might be doing. Which is exciting.
Hannibal's Numidian cavalry made their way over to the Roman camp, arriving just before dawn. Hey, Romans, wakey, wakey.
Yo.
What's going on? Hey, Longus, your butt smells like a butt. It does not. Scipio, awaken the troops. Longus, these playground insults are clearly meant to lure you out. Well, it's working. Send out the troops. Longus, it's clearly a trap. And I'm falling for it. Send out the troops. Hey, guys, wake up. You're heading out for battle. What? But we haven't had breakfast. We're skipping breakfast. I don't think you can do that. As the Romans hurried out of camp, the Numidians began luring them back to the Carthaginian camp, where these gentle angels were just awakening from their slumber. Eat up, boys. We're having pancakes.
This is cute.
While the Carthaginians were enjoying their hearty breakfast, the starving Romans were still on their way. Hurry up! We have to catch those Numidians. Hey, why have you stopped marching? Longus, there's a freezing river in front of us. Well, get your gluteus maximus in the water!
What?
All right, boys. Time to lather up. This oil will insulate
I'm fucking... Holy shit, they're oiling up their soldiers, dude.
you from the cold. It also smells like lavender. There's the Carthaginian camp. Get ready to fight, men. Sir, I think the water from the river is beginning to ice over. I can't move. Oh, I'm sorry. You thought war would be fun? Sitting around a nice hot campfire playing Truth or Dare with your friends? Welcome to the real world! Truth. Who do you like? Sharon?
That sounds silly.
Hey, look, guys. The Romans are here. Perfectly orchestrated
I love that one of the dudes just fell over.
events so that his enemy was cold, tired, and hungry, while his men were well rested and covered in oil. When the two sides engaged one another, the Romans were in no condition to fight. And the cherry on top, the previous night, Hannibal had sent out an elite force of men led by his brother to go and hide behind a bush. they suddenly sprung
These
out,
rats!
encircling the exhausted Romans, who were then cut to pieces. Once again, Hannibal's superior cavalry and double envelopment tactics
Brilliant!
had flummoxed the Romans. But the key word
Cinema!
at Trebia was control. Hannibal used his intel on the enemy and the environment of the battlefield to carefully control the conditions of battle, creating lots of little advantages for himself that paved the way to success. And concealing troops for an ambush? All of these things are what make Hannibal the genius he's remembered as today. As for Longus, he managed to escape the battlefield with a small number of troops. Disgraced, he didn't want the Senate to find out what had happened, and he began obscuring communications back to Rome. Longus, where have you been? We've been looking for you. Nowhere in particular. Longus, 30,000 men are missing. Do you know where they are? They're taking a bath. 30,000 men? All in a bath? Yes. Longus, what's under that rug? Aurora Borealis? Aurora Borealis?
Ew.
Well, that's my consulship over. Good luck with Hannibal. Bye. Trebia had been a disaster for the Romans. And
Damn, that's a crazy kill count. What the fuck? Hannibal aced like fucking 40,000 times in a row. Wow. Dang, those casualties are like everything. That's almost everything.
as even more Celts began flocking to Hannibal, Rome largely lost its control over Cisalpine Gaul. In Rome, complacency turned to alarm. Hannibal had outwitted them on their own soil and inflicted a costly defeat. But with that, Scipio and Longus's terms as consul were over. They were replaced with two new consuls, Servilius
New ones, okay.
and Flaminius. The Romans may now have begun to realize the trouble they were in and the genius Hannibal had shown in invading Italy. The Romans had expected to be the ones controlling this war. Remember, they thought they were going to invade Carthage. Now their plans lay in ruins, and they were levying 11 new legions to deal with the threat. Hannibal had completely redefined the war. But
Chills.
Hannibal had a little problem of his own. Things had gone well so far, but the Celts were notoriously fickle, and Hannibal needed to ensure he maintained their alliance and his base of support in Italy. Any Celts he captured fighting for Rome, he treated extremely well and allowed them to return to their homes. But the longer he hung around in their territory, eating all their food and leaving beard trimmings in their sinks, the more resentful they may become. They wanted to go south and plunder some Roman booty, and Hannibal also hoped to sway Rome's other Italian allies in the south to his side. So from here, the path was clear. Hannibal had to move south. Just one problem. There were two main routes Hannibal could take to move south.
Whoa, chat, Hannibal already crossed a mountain. What's like another 10? You know, just cross the mountain again. It doesn't look that big. He's got that little gap there.
And wouldn't you know it, that's exactly where the two new Roman consuls
Oh.
had taken fortified positions. If Hannibal tried to move on them, he'd be fighting from a disadvantaged position and could be bottled in. There is a third option. Ooh, tell me. We could move through this vast impassable marshland flooded with dirty, stinky, disease-infested water that at times would come up to our
Ew.
necks. But there's no way we would attempt that, right? That'd be crazy, right? Hannibal? Hannibal's 4-day trek across the Arno Marsh.
Damn, Hannibal's like the type of friend you have where it's like, one more game, we can't end on a loss, and you have to you have to suffer. This guy don't care.
Was hell on earth. Almost as crazy as when he crossed the Alps. Imagine 3 full days unable to sit or lie down because there's nowhere to sit or lie down. Meaning 4 full days without
Swamp
sleep, slogging
ass.
through heavy mud. You contract cholera, your foot falls off, and Jim Bob.
Holy shit, what the fuck is cholera? Oh my god, this is probably where all STDs and the bubonic plague originated from. Or something, I don't know, this is kind of nasty. And brain-eating amoeba. I'm horrified of brain-eating amoeba.
Directly in front of you won't stop pooping in your path. In fact, everybody's pooping in your path. Some delirious, sleepless men would see clumps of mud and say, man, I could just sink into that. And then they would. When pack animals died, it gave nearby men a chance to rest, but only for a few moments before they were whipped back into line. Even Hannibal himself couldn't escape the torture of it. Hey Hannibal, if we see a Starbucks, can we stop? I need to take a leak.
Yo! Pink eye.
What? Geez, Hannibal. Looks like you picked up a nasty eye infection. Normally for this sort of thing, we just wash it out with some clean water. But as you can see, water everywhere, but it's full of Jim Bob's poop. No worries, Doc. I'll just take care of it myself.
What the fuck? This guy is metal.
That'll be $3,000. When the now possibly one-eyed Hannibal and his army emerged from the swamp, they were shattered. But he had just managed to slip 50,000 men right past the Romans
Dang,
into rich
that's
Etrurian
crazy.
lands where he could replenish his supplies, and his Celt allies could go crazy, securing Roman loot and booty. As fields and villages went up in flames, one Roman consul couldn't help but notice the hot-headed Flaminius, feeling it was his responsibility to protect these lands, rather than waiting for his co-consul to come join him, immediately left to go chase Hannibal. Now, this Flaminius was an interesting character. He was
I wanna learn about him.
Romans called a new man. He came from the lower plebeian classes of Roman society, and as a result, he reportedly had kind of a screw-you attitude to the establishment, and a big old arrogant chip on his shoulder. Picture Sid Vicious wearing a toga. That's Flaminius. And Hannibal, thanks to his spies, knew everything.
Dang, bro. I feel like these spies are doing a lot for Hannibal. Knowledge is power. Which is why we're learning about history now.
Just as with Longus, Hannibal knew Flaminius was just the kind of man he could lure into a trap. Hannibal led Flaminius to the entrance of a narrow pass along the north shore of Lake Trasimene. Flaminius watched as Hannibal's army entered the pass. I've done it. I've spotted the enemy. Sir? That big follow us sign seems kind of like they're trying to lure you in. Yes, Gareth, and I'm taking the bait. Sir, this really seems like a trap. Yes, Gareth, and I'm falling for it. Daylight was fading, so for now, the Romans set up camp.
Damn, where is Rome getting these leaders? Why are they all so hot-headed? Yeah, literally. They think with their pride and not their brain. Well, I don't think in general, so I guess that's better, but
The two armies encamped across the lake from one another, and night fell over the two camps. In the morning, Flaminius would catch up to Hannibal, and he would be the hero of Rome. For now, the Romans got nice and comfy in their
oh,
beds.
not again.
Good night, Flaminius. Good night, Rome. Good evening, Hannibal. During the night, Hannibal
Night
ordered total
vision.
stealth.
Damn, Hannibal's crazy.
Thousands of troops
Chills. Chills.
scaled the wooded hills above the pass.
I love this scene. I love these
Completely
cuts.
undetected by Rome's scouts. Let's go, girls. Flaminius took off across the lake shore to try to catch Hannibal. As he did, even the weather seemed to be on Hannibal's side. A thick fog rose from the surface of the lake, obscuring visibility.
Holy shit! Whoa, damn! Mother Nature wants Hannibal to win. She's rooting for the underdog. Good night, Darren. It's a hang out today.
Look at this. This is perfect. The mist will obscure our approach. Hannibal will never see me coming. Sir? Why does it sound like 50,000 Carthaginians are charging down the hill towards us? You mean 50,000 Carthaginians are charging right into my trap? The Romans found themselves completely hemmed in on all sides. With zero visibility in the fog, the fighting was terrifying and chaotic.
That's so scary.
Troops were pushed into the lake in their heavy armor, where they were either cut down or drowned. And Flaminius, who likely stood out like a sore thumb in his consul attire, caught the attention of one Celt warrior, with his head possibly swirling with thoughts of how the Romans had decimated his homeland. According to the ancient writers, this Celt took his chance.
Chills! Yeah! Oh my god, he actually hit him! Chills! That's insane! Whoa!
In the 3-hour-long massacre,
Damn!
15,000 Romans were killed and an equal number captured. An entire army completely wiped out, along with their consul. During the battle, the Roman vanguard had managed to break through at the front and climbed the hill above the fog. When the mist cleared, what they saw was a blood-red lake.
That's
and a
horrifying.
sea of Roman bodies.
Holy shit, that is horrifying, dude. Dang! Zam!
Worse yet,
Chills.
when the other consuls sent cavalry to try to aid Flaminius's doomed legions, they too were caught and defeated. A double disaster. Rome went into a frenzy. For the second time, Hannibal had completely decimated an entire Roman army. Romans were dying by the tens of thousands. Common citizens began flocking to the city for safety. Women waited by the city gates in tears, hoping to hear news of loved ones. This one man, having just led his battered army across the Alps the previous year, now stood less than 100 miles from Rome. To this point, he had been a problem. Now, Hannibal was a crisis.
Dun dun dun.
And in a crisis, Rome took desperate measures. They actually had a system in place when dealing with an emergency of this magnitude.
They do?
They would forgo their two-consul power-sharing system and instead temporarily give one man near total power and authority to be as decisive as he needed and hopefully salvage the situation. This all-powerful position in Rome's government had a name: dictator. It's actually where we get the word. But unlike modern dictators, Roman ones didn't score perfect rounds of golf or ride down through the Siberian tundra. They held their power for just 6 months before they were required to give it up. And in Rome's...
That's really cool, actually. I didn't know Rome had a system. This is like their last resort system. Holy shit, that's pretty cool.
hour of need, the man chosen to be dictator in 217 BC, one of the most highly esteemed members of the Roman Senate, Fabius Maximus. So how would Fabius, as dictator, confront Hannibal? Well, Fabius understood that marching all of Rome's young men straight into a one-man meat grinder was bleeding Rome dry. Hannibal was clearly too dangerous to face head-on in battle. However, he was also stuck in their territory, with dwindling manpower and forced to live off the land. It wasn't a sustainable position to be in long-term, and he could only remain there for so long. So, if Rome avoided battle with Hannibal to prevent any more crippling losses, and instead simply maneuvered around him, blocking supplies and taking out smaller contingents where...
Yeah, I was gonna say, how about we burn everything and there's no more resources? I think we've done that before in war.
Possible. Hannibal would gradually become weaker, while they would gradually become stronger. And so Fabius presented his new idea to the Roman Senate. Okay, guys, I have an idea. See if you can follow me here, okay? Instead of fighting Hannibal, when he approaches, we run away.
No, they didn't like it, no!
Fabius's strategy couldn't have been any less Roman. Romans were meant to march headfirst into battle, not...
Well, we're fucking losing! What? We're for sure. I think that's gonna work for real.
Run away from it? It seemed cowardly, and Fabius was extremely unpopular. At this point, Hannibal was continuing south.
Damn.
He had to stay on the move to keep his army fed, and he was still aiming to undermine Rome's alliances in the south. As he went, in a calculated display of aggression, he devastated the Roman countryside and killed many Romans, all in plain sight of Fabius and his army. We're just gonna stand here? Yes. Are you a coward? No. But Fabius, that's my farm. Well, MacDonald, thank you for your sacrifice. You're a hero now. Think of the stories you'll tell. Old MacDonald had a farm. Shut up. But you know who else hated Fabius's strategy? Hannibal. He understood the danger he was in. Turning Rome's allies against her required Hannibal to keep smashing the Romans in battle. He couldn't do that if Fabius wouldn't fight him. Multiple times, Hannibal tried to goad Fabius into a fight, but Fabius wouldn't bite. Failing that, he tried to turn Rome against Fabius. According to the writer Livy, he burned down all the farms he could, but any farm he learned was owned by Fabius himself. He left well alone. Hey, Fabius, why isn't he burning down your farm? You got some sort of a secret?
That's so fucking funny. Like, again, this is probably mortifying for the people that live there, but like, just the concept that he would burn all farms except his to start rumors is really devious. Yeah, that's kind of fucking brilliant, but really, like, it's kind of goofy at the same time, but smart. I like it.
Deal with him? What? Of course not. Hey, Hannibal! What? Burn my farm too, please! What? Burn my farm too, please!
Dad!
Remember our secret deal! Well, you gotta admit, he's a genius. Hannibal's problem, however, was that he had to stay on the move to keep supplying his army from the local lands. At one point, he entered Campania, one of the richest regions of Italy. Great for resupplying, and great for showing up Fabius in front of Rome's South Italian allies.
Dang.
But he was caught in a valley, and Fabius quickly moved
No.
to block his escapes. Haha! We've got him! After he's used up all the valley's supplies, he'll starve. Sir? What are all those lights leaving the valley? Is he trying to escape? Lights in plain view. Well, that's a trap if I've ever seen one. And we're falling for it! Suspecting a trap,
God damn it,
Fabius
these
refused to budge.
Romans!
But other Romans in the valley rushed to confront Hannibal, only to find the Carthaginian army was actually just a herd of oxen with torches tied to their heads. They then found themselves caught in an
that's
ambush.
so smart!
With the Romans
How is he so
distracted,
smart?
Hannibal's army was able to slip away into the night, unopposed. Classic Hannibal. For all his inaction, the dissatisfied Romans mockingly dubbed him Fabius the Delayer. But the thing is,
That's fucking diabolical, chat. I don't think he's a fan favorite of the Romans.
Fabius's strategy was probably the best thing he could have done. He was right that constant encounters with Hannibal were bleeding Rome dry, and the time he took allowed Rome some breathing room to recover their forces when they desperately needed to, while putting Hannibal into an increasingly more difficult position. Modern historians view Fabius's strategy as generally a good idea. To this day, the act of not engaging an enemy, but instead gradually wearing them down, is still referred to as the Fabian strategy.
Is that
when
Obama? Hannibal is famous for a reason. Yeah, I didn't realize he had so much aura. He's pretty cool learning about it. Obama! My code.
Is still referred to as the Fabian strategy. But when Fabius's term finally came to an end, the Senate couldn't have been happier. It was time to start fighting again. However, they probably had a little chat about how they were going to go about it. See, Hannibal's tactics up until now had been very sneaky. Or, if you're a Roman, you might say dishonorable. I'm sick of it! Every time we try to take this guy down, we march straight at him. But then, oh no! Hannibal's hiding in a bush. Hannibal's got 30,000 men up a tree. At this point, I'm not convinced my wife isn't just Hannibal wearing a disguise. Cooey. Look, this time we obviously have to switch something up.
What the fuck? That scene, that's... I don't know, I'm shocked.
Now granted, we're Roman, so we're gonna march straight at him without thinking. That can't be helped. It's in our blood. But I have a proposition. This time, when we march straight at him, we do it with a massive army. I'm talking like
Okay.
80,000 men. It won't matter what kind of shenanigans he pulls. He can hide in all the bushes he wants. There's no way he can possibly beat off.
That's such a bad idea.
80,000 men. Grow up. You know what I mean? And so it was. With 2 new consuls, Rome put together a massive army, the biggest Rome had ever fielded, to put Hannibal away once and for all. To gather the men required, 2/3 of them ended up being completely inexperienced. But how much experience does it take to be expendable war fodder? As this massive army set out in
This is such a shit idea. Imagine that was a good idea. What? That's such, like, you know, brain free brawn. Like, as someone who likes to brute force their way through everything, you know what? Actually, maybe the brute forcing might. I don't know. It's hard for me because this is what I'm imagining. Chat. You could have 80,000 men, but what if Hannibal has like a tank, you know? And they just like nuke them bitches, bro. They all go down, even though there was more. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like you just need some explosions. You go boom, 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 and all of them are dead. That's Mochi war tactics.
In the summer of 216 BC, the Romans knew they needed to win this battle. Just one victory over Hannibal would likely be enough to end his entire campaign. And this time, their overwhelming manpower gave them confidence they could do it. Hannibal had taken position at the town of Cannae, where he had captured an important Roman supply depot. With Fabius gone, Hannibal knew a battle was likely coming, and he was eager to fight it on his terms. But when his men looked out at the Roman camp, they couldn't believe what they were seeing.
Damn.
That army's huge. There's no way we can possibly beat off all these men. How are we gonna beat off all of these men? You know what I mean. I think he's right, Hannibal. Hannibal is then said to have replied, Gisco, my friend, don't worry. There may be a lot of them, but amongst their ranks, there's not a single man named Gisco. This joke was apparently so funny that his officers began to laugh and laugh. And when his men in the camp heard the laugh,
That's city. I don't know. This is the idea of it. Like, is that like the actual joke? What the fuck?
after, they were like, hey, they're laughing. I guess that means we're gonna win the battle.
Yeah!
Yay! As for the Romans, the consuls were another pairing between an inexperienced hothead and a wise scholar.
I'm dead.
Although the main historian from this era was good friends with Paulus's family, so take that with a grain of salt. On his day of command, the rash and hasty Varro, despite the apparent pleas from Paulus, sent the army out for battle. And when Hannibal saw this, he did the same. And here comes the single largest battle of the Second Punic War,
chills.
and one of the most renowned battles in history, the infamous Battle of Cannae. In all the pre-battle maneuvering, Hannibal was able
Dang, bro. Dang. That's all I have to say. Sorry, I paused for that. I felt like that input was important.
to ensure his army was fighting from the south. This meant the seasonal dust-carrying winds were to his back and blowing directly into the faces of the Romans.
Mother Nature
Like I
loves
said,
Hannibal.
Control. After 2 years in Italy, Hannibal's infantry had dwindled to about 40,000. The Romans possibly outnumbered him 2 to 1.
That's
Their army was
crazy.
so big that their maniples stretched far deeper than they normally would. The Romans planned to charge Hannibal's thin, weak line like a battering ram and break it. They also chose a narrow battlefield in the hopes it would prevent Hannibal's far superior cavalry from being able to outmaneuver them. They wanted an honorable battle where pure strength rather than trickery would decide the outcome. If Hannibal had his say, however, trickery might end up having a lot to do with it. He ordered his line to position themselves as an outward bulge, with his weakest troops at the very center.
Weakest,
Just behind
okay.
them, out of sight from the Romans, stood the elite Libyan infantry, waiting for their moment to strike. The battle commenced as the massive
Oh my God,
Roman
I'm so
troops
excited.
smashed into the Carthaginian
I don't know what's gonna
center.
happen.
The shape of Hannibal's line ensured the overwhelming weight of the Romans hit his weakest troops first, and they were pushed back. Hannibal's outward bulge reversed inward, with the Romans being funneled in towards the weak center. Hannibal had positioned himself at the center to encourage the troops to hold out as long as possible against the Roman onslaught, because while the Romans were unleashing carnage on the center, Hannibal's cavalry needed time to do their job. The heavy cavalry on the left after a barbaric fight sent the Roman horse packing, with the consul Polus even sustaining a severe head injury. He managed to move into the center to keep the battle going. Then, the heavy cavalry turned and approached Varro's cavalry from behind. At the first sight of the coming Carthaginian envelopment, Varro ordered his horsemen to flee the battlefield. The Carthaginians had won the cavalry battle. But back in the center, according to some accounts, Hannibal's line did eventually end up caving to the massive weight of the Romans. And they began to flee. The Romans pushed deeper, and organization within the army likely broke down as they became a giant mass, trying to massacre the fleeing Carthaginians. They didn't realize that they were playing right into Hannibal's hands. At that moment, Hannibal's elite units, having done no fighting yet, and therefore fresh as a daisy, turned and smashed into the Roman sides. Many of these troops were wearing Roman helmets and armor they had picked up after previous battles.
Oh my god, this guy's a genius! Holy shit! That's so cool! I want to oh my god, I might have problems with my brain. I want to think strategically like him! What? That's so cool! 10 steps ahead. He's always 10 steps ahead.
And the confused Romans may not have even realized they
were the Mochi. Fuck you.
As Hannibal managed to regain the composure of his center and encourage them back into the fight, the Carthaginian cavalry swooped in from behind.
Chills!
At what lies before
Cinema! They're fucking anacondaing landing him, bro. My anaconda don't want none of this unless you got buns, hun. You know what I'm talking about? The snake plan? The US did it for some reason. I forgot why. I just remember learning about the anaconda plan. Ice cubes! March forward!
Military general's wet dream, the total encirclement of a much larger force by a much smaller force. The Romans were trapped. Hannibal
had playing a guard.io.
managed to use their own superiority in numbers against them. Rather than simply encircling them, he had actually allowed them to use their own immense power and push themselves into an encircled position. This was the genius of Cannae.
Chills!
And with that, the annihilation began.
It has to be so chaotic.
For hours, the Carthaginians slaughtered the helpless Romans from all sides. The terrified Romans were so tightly packed that at times they couldn't even lift their arms to defend themselves.
Oh my gosh!
The killing went on so long that the Carthaginians became exhausted from the non-stop massacre. And by the time the butchery came to an end, the grim toll spoke for itself. To Hannibal's several thousand lost, the Romans suffered 60 to 80,000 dead or captured. Yet another entire army wiped out by Hannibal. Many high-ranking Romans met their end at Cannae. Polus.
What the fuck? Damn, bro. What the blood spilling from that must have been crazy as they fucking engulfed the army. That's actually really scary to think about. To lose that many people in like a few hours? What the fuck? That's like fucking... Sorry, I was gonna say a Chainsaw Man spoiler, but I won't. But if you guys watch the newest chapter, GG Michigan.
For one, but also 80 senators and more. It's been estimated that 20% of Rome's male population aged 18 to 50 died at Cannae. This was it. Hannibal's vengeance. The stunned Carthaginians,
he must be so happy,
searched for their own survivors among the dead, couldn't believe the sight of it. An estimated 30,000 gallons of blood now lay spilled on the battlefield.
That's disgusting.
Rome's defeat at Cannae.
Damn, bro, how are these bitches not getting PTSD, dude? I see roadkill on the road, and you know, like in fucking Lethal Company when the screen goes, you know, the screen goes like that. Like that's how I feel, bro. Where's the PTSD? Oh, they do? Oh. Well, this guy didn't animate PTSD, so I didn't know. Okay. Well, I guess that makes sense.
Sent shockwaves throughout Italy. Just as Hannibal had hoped, most of southern Italy now defected to his side, including the second largest city on the peninsula. Wow. Hannibal, this is incredible. What could possibly come next? Next? Jim Bob. I've killed 150,000 Romans. I've turned her allies against her. That's it. That's vengeance.
We're done?
So let me tell you what comes next. Rome surrenders. Their territories are reduced.
Chills.
We recover our lost islands.
Chills.
And Carthage dominates the Mediterranean once again. But
Chills.
sir, what if they don't surrender? Jimbo,
Lamau.
did you miss what just happened? Of course they're gonna surrender. Throughout his campaign, Hannibal had shown himself to be very adept at reading the Roman mind. But if he now thought that Rome might surrender, it was the first time he severely underestimated them. And he was about to discover an extremely inconvenient fact about Rome. Rome
Glory.
never surrenders.
That's fucking crazy, dude. You just, holy crap. You get like, oh my gosh, so many people died. They're like, we can still win. This is the copium I want to be on. Thank you so much, Shar, for the tier 1 sub. Thank you. I really appreciate your support. Thank you so much for the sub. Thank you.
At a Roman survivors' camp near Cannae, one young
I'm learning a lot here.
overheard some troops discussing how they would flee Rome. Drawing his sword, he threatened to cut down any man that would abandon Rome in its hour of need. That officer was Scipio the Younger. But soon enough, the Romans would come to call him Scipio Africanus, the hero of Rome.
Huh? Chills! What's happening now? They just introduced a new character. Wait, I can't see the Romans winning. I really can't right now. It won't take a year to more, I think. Chills, dude.
This
Okay,
video
right
was-
now. Oh, sorry. Before we start the video, let me tell you guys my predictions and let me digest it real quick. Wow, I can't see the Romans winning. Hannibal seems too brilliant. Unless, I don't know. I don't see how them not surrendering would mess up Hannibal's plan. Why doesn't Hannibal just like, another 80,000 Romans dead? Why don't he go like continuing stabby stab? Imagine this happened in real life. This is crazy, dude. We're getting through this pretty quick. Maybe I can stick around for the whole thing after. We're at the final part now, part 3. I do have to take a little potty break though, so I'll be right back. Really quick chat, but thank you guys so much for sticking around and watching this with me. I'm excited to see what happens. Sorry to the editors, I need to cut me peeing out, or you can keep me peeing on straight. Don't keep me peeing on. Okay, all right, chat. I will be right back. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. Thank you. I'll see you guys in a little bit. Wah!
Oh, Lord. Somebody.
Okay, alright chat, welcome back. We're back from our potty break. So we're gonna go ahead and continue the final part of the second Punic War. Let's get started.
Possible by NordVPN. Click the link in the
NordVPN's
description
back!
to get an exclusive
We're
deal
back!
with 4 extra months. Head over to the merch store to pick up some
Dang.
character pins, calendars, and more. Also,
Hi, welcome in,
ever
Ice
needed
Cubes.
to enact vengeance on your enemies, but always felt too shy? Well, fear not. Little Hannibal
A
is
little
here.
Hannibal?
Support
What? I wasn't expecting to make a little Hannibal. Well, Hannibal must be super popular then. Well, Hannibal has won my heart over. He's so much aura. He's so cool. Welcome in. If you guys just joined, we're continuing the second Punic Wars. We're going to finish part 3 today. So, yes, stick around.
channel by heading over to oversimplified.youtube.com and buying your very own pocket-sized piece of vengeance. Our exclusive Hannibal
So you
figure
got 25
is in
bits.
limited supply, so get it quick.
Ooh. Holy Holy crap, we're recapping! We're recapping all his wins like it's the fucking... like it's a fucking tournament or something. What the fuck? Hannibal took the W, literally. This shit's crazy. I like this little recap. Dang! Rome's in a pickle!
How do you solve a problem like Hannibal? In a crisis such as this, the Romans often turn to religion. What's going on? Are the gods mad at us? The gods must be mad at us! But why? Why? No, why? 2 of the Vestal virgins broke their sacred oath and lost their virginity. That's why Hannibal's kicking our ass. What should we do with them? Appease the gods! Bury them alive! Who did they even boink? It was those guys! Huh? What should we do with them? Beat them to death!
Whoa!
Needless
What is
to say,
happening?
the Romans.
The Romans are tweaking the fuck out! They're going crazy! I mean, I guess so. I'd be freaked out too, but damn! It's a whole riot. It's chaos.
We're freaking out.
Freaking it. I'm dead.
Okay, now that that's out of our system, let's go find a real solution. The real solution, first of all, involved raising a new army. Remember, at Cannae, Hannibal had wiped out the biggest army Rome had ever fielded. Possibly 20% of Rome's military-aged men. Rome needed to replace those losses, and fast, before
Baby boom.
Hannibal arrived at their gates. But where would those replacements come from? Rome had a few ideas. Quick! Lower the age of conscription! You! Put down those Digimons! You're a soldier now! Enlist all these slaves with the promise of freedom! And equip them with all these religious weapons and armor! Anything we've got! All right, men, you are Rome's last line of defense.
The children with the baby bottles. I thought they were gonna make new babies, but I guess new babies wouldn't really do anything.
Man the walls!
Actually, we for real using children? What, for real? Wait. Sorry, whoa. Okay, I need to see the progression.
After the earth-shattering defeat at Cannae, the Romans expected Hannibal to arrive at their gates any day now. In Hannibal's camp, the mood was triumphant. We did it! We won! So when do we march on Rome? Today? I'm free in 10 minutes. Whoa, slow down. We're not going to Rome. We're staying
Why
right
not?
here. Are you an idiot, Hannibal? No, I'm smart. We don't need to march on Rome, because after what we did, the Romans are definitely going to surrender. Watch. Hey, Jim Bob. Yes, sir? Go to Rome and discuss peace terms. Yes, sir. Hey, I'm here to discuss peace terms. Piss off! They told me to piss off! What? They didn't surrender? No! And they were mean!
No.
Hannibal was learning that Rome had an unprecedented attitude towards surrender. Even when Hannibal offered to ransom thousands of prisoners back to Rome, a pretty common practice in ancient warfare, the Romans refused, opting to let their own men be sold into slavery rather than paying.
What the fuck? Damn, these Rome's kind of... They got their pride, Chad. They got their pride. Everyone got their thing.
A penny to the enemy. It was clear that in order to defeat Rome, you had to annihilate them. If any Roman man was still standing, you hadn't yet won.
Dang.
But still, Hannibal decided not to march on Rome, and it was a controversial decision. Even one of his own commanders famously told him, Hannibal, you know how to win a battle, but you do not know how to win a war.
Ooh.
From Hannibal's perspective, perhaps he knew his army was designed to survive behind enemy lines and sow chaos. It may not have been well equipped to undertake a risky siege of one of the most fortified cities on Earth. Plus, with many of the southern cities defecting to his side after Cannae, Hannibal likely thought things were going pretty well, as is. We'll stay the course. Okay, so the Romans didn't surrender after 3 major defeats. But surely they'll surrender after 4. Unfortunately for Hannibal, however, after Cannae, the Romans well and truly learnt their lesson. Well, would you look at that? Remind me,
He's back.
who was it that said Hannibal was too dangerous to fight? You. And who said we shouldn't fight him directly?
Dang.
You. And who tried to fight him directly? Us. And what happened? We lost 20% of our military-aged men. That's right. So tell me, when Hannibal approaches, what do? We run away. I'm a genius. Clap for me. After Cannae, Fabius Maximus kind of became the unofficial leader of Rome.
Ooh.
Even if others were elected consul, his influence was unparalleled, and Rome quickly reverted to the Fabian strategy of avoiding Hannibal. They knew they couldn't defeat him, so instead, they hoped they could at least contain him. They raised an impressively large number of men, partly by enlisting teenagers, slaves, and criminals. And rather than trying to fight Hannibal, they instead turned their attention towards those treacherous southern cities that had switched sides. Thanks for joining the winning team, guys. Here's the deal. All you have to do is provide me some troops and defend your own city, since I'll be too busy to defend it for you. Now, I'm going to briefly turn around, look this way, and when I look back, you better not be being massacred by the Romans. Oh, for goodness sake! The Romans spread out their newly formed legions and began attacking the southern cities here, there, everywhere. The southern cities expected to have Hannibal's protection, and Hannibal was inundated with requests for help. He was forced to run around.
I love that the little phone call center for Hannibal. Dang, dude.
Southern Italy, trying to encourage.
This is just like Napoleon. Well, not like Napoleon, but like Napoleon could win battles where he was at, but he couldn't be everywhere at once. Hannibal can't be everywhere at once either. Dang.
Defection while rescuing his own allies. But when he showed up, the Romans would often leave, only to come back the second he went away again.
That's so fucking funny. That's such a rat thing to do. That's dead.
And as these southern cities found themselves being punished severely by the Romans, they began to realize
Teammate asking
that
for
joining
ganks.
Hannibal may not have been such a good idea. Hey! You think you're so big? Attacking my allies? Why don't you come out and face me? Because you're scary! The fickle southern city.
Sorry, I'm just thinking about little Roman. And Hannibal's like, "Why aren't you guys fighting me?" Because you're scary.
These frequently switched sides depending on who appeared to be winning, and the whole situation became a nightmare for Hannibal to control.
This is a hot
constant
mess.
Game of Roman whack-a-mole to fend off the enemy armies. Having not long ago seemed near extinction, the Romans had managed to turn the situation around by placing Hannibal in a clever predicament. If he left southern Italy, the southern cities would likely
I love the little babies, the little baby cities.
capitulate to Rome, meaning he couldn't leave. And since the Romans wouldn't fight him, he couldn't inflict any more dangerous defeats. For now, Hannibal had been muzzled.
Damn.
Southern Italy had been his prize for his impressive Italian campaign. But those clever Romans found a way to take his prize and turn it into his prison. With the Fabian strategy neutralizing Hannibal for now, the Romans were freed up to refocus their attention to other fronts. This whole time, while we've been discussing Hannibal and the Italian
Yeah, what's it going on at home? I forgot there was a home. I forgot he was fighting for like a country, you know. I was just Hannibal. That's all I think about Hannibal. Who had a Carcina to Carcina? See, I already forgot their name. Carcina, the blue people.
campaign of the Second Punic War, fighting had actually been occurring elsewhere. For example, in 216 BC, the Romans had sent an army north to punish the Celtic tribes that had joined Hannibal. However, as the Romans entered the Latana forest, little did they know those clever Celts had set up a trap. The Celts dropped trees on them, decimating.
What the fuck, bro? Death by tree? That's insane. That's some metal shit. What the fuck? I thought they were gonna go fight, but no, they just like dropped it like how I drop books on spiders and I'm scared of them.
The Romans, and they even took the commander's head to use as a religious sippy cup. So that went pretty bad. Whoa, very bad. But thankfully, in other theaters, things were going a bit better. For example, let's look at Sicily. After Cannae, internal chaos in Syracuse caused this longtime Roman ally to switch sides, because being a winner is more fun. The Carthaginians also landed troops, hoping to retake their lost island, while Roman proconsul Claudius Marcellus moved in to besiege Syracuse. The siege was a brutal slug for the Romans, largely due to the presence of one famous scientist and mathematician, Archimedes. He lived in Syracuse at the time, and he invented a variety of clever contraptions to defend the city. There was a giant claw that could grab and destroy Roman ships, and purportedly even a big mirror that could magically ignite them. The Carthaginian forces on the island attempted to come to Syracuse's rescue, but luckily for the Romans, they all got diarrhea and then died.
What the fuck? I wasn't expecting that, but I guess that do be happening. It's really amazing that you could just have diarrhea as a personality now. And you know, with modern medicine, you live death by shitting, yeah.
Finally, in the city itself, the day of a big annual religious festival came, and the Syracusans said, "Well, fellas, we've been holding off the Romans for over a year now. I think we've earned ourselves a little party." Sir, we're still under a massive siege. Are you sure? They'll probably take advantage of it. Well, Carl, I'm taking advantage of the open bar. Sir, they've got battering rams. Well, Carl, I'm ramming these hors d'oeuvres into my mouth. Sir, they'll tear down the walls. Well, Carl, I'm tearing it up on the dance floor. Sir, they're literally at the gates. Well, Carl, I'm literally at the cheese platter. Marcellus took advantage of the drunken festivities.
Why the fuck are they partying? Holy shit, bro. My randoms when I queue. What? What's the law? I don't get it. Why are we partying it up?
Stormed the city and plundering ensued. In the chaos, Marcellus
me partying for my
Archimedes
exams.
be captured alive. Some sources say Roman troops entered Archimedes' home, and they were like, "Hey man, are you the math guy? Go away. I'm drawing circles. Look, I just need to know if you're the nerd. Come on, bro, get out of here. You're messing."
I like that this is an actual drawing. What the fuck?
Got my circles. Now is not a good time to draw circles. It's always a good time for circles. I love circles. Either stop drawing the circles or I kill you. I choose the circles.
No!
Despite not securing Archimedes, by
why did it kill him? No, he liked the circles.
210 BC, the Romans did secure Sicily and also put down a Carthage-supported rebellion on nearby Sardinia. 2 Roman successes, and there were more to come. After Cannae, King Philip V of Macedon saw an opportunity. He was concerned with recent Roman expansion into Illyria, and so, when he saw Hannibal annihilating the Romans in Italy, he said, "Oh my gosh, hey!"
I like to think that the ocean is just a big river. I love that you can see the other territory over here.
Oh my gosh, you're so cool! Let's form an alliance and annihilate the Romans together! Sure. Yes! Hannibal hoped to secure Philip's help in fighting Rome, but a Roman army was sent to the region, stirred up Philip's other Greek opponents, and essentially kept Philip bogged down in Greece for the entire duration of the war. Another kind of Roman success. But the main front Rome was hoping to push Carthage back in was Spain. The riches of Spain made it one of Carthage's most valuable possessions, and the Romans were eager to weaken it. Remember way back at the start of the war, the consul Scipio was supposed to go to Spain, but ended up rushing back to Italy when he realized Hannibal was crossing the Alps. He then faced Hannibal at Ticinus and had to be rescued by his son. Well, after he recovered from his wounds, he proceeded with the original plan and joined his brother in Spain. There, the 2 Scipio brothers fought a successful campaign against Hannibal's brother, Hasdrubal. Over the next few years, they won a number of key victories, even taking Saguntum, the city that had kick-started this entire war.
Oh, wow, it's not
Yet
looking...
more.
Dang, it's not looking good for Hannibal right now, or like his allies, or I don't know, damn. Oh no!
Roman success. A trend appeared to be emerging. Whenever the Romans fought anyone other than Hannibal, they usually
I'm sorry,
came
Howdy.
out on top. Perhaps these other fronts would be the key to Rome taking back control of this war. Perhaps it was time for Rome to return to their old ways of being the aggressive go-getters. And
Dang.
perhaps it would help if Rome had a Hannibal of their own.
Is this guy the GOAT, chat? Is he? I guess I'll have to see. New character being written in.
Scipio the Younger was the
Scipio.
son of Publius Scipio, currently fighting in Spain. This made him a member of one of Rome's most prestigious families. Not much is known of his childhood, although there is one story of how he was getting hot and heavy with a young lady, only
I'm
to
dead.
have his dad barge in and drag him out wearing nothing but a cloak.
What?
This story was written by a Roman poet to make Scipio look bad, but by modern standards has
dead.
ended up making him look pretty rad. My guess is if Rome had a high school football team, Scipio would be the quarterback.
I'm dead.
Scipio was only 18 when the Second Punic War broke out. He was at the Battle of Ticinus, where he famously rescued his father, and he was one of the survivors
Oh, that's him. The hair fell out.
of the Battle of Cannae, after which he threatened to cut down any man who dared abandon Rome. He was a natural leader and up to his ears in spunk, and therefore he rose through
Spunk.
the Roman ranks shockingly fast. We need a new military tribune, but Hannibal has killed so many men, we're running out of options. Put me in, coach. Scipio, you're only 20. You can't be a tribune. Come on, coach. Put me in. Well, you do have a lot of spunk. All right, you're hired. We need to elect a new edile. Who do we have left? Put me in, coach. Scipio, you don't meet the minimum age requirement. I got this, coach. I got this. Well, okay then. You're in. Ugh, my room's a mess. I gotta cook dinner. Oh, and would you look at that? My fly's down. Life sucks. Put me in, coach.
Dang, bro. This guy seems goated. Yeah, I trust chat.
Wow, you're so spunky. When Scipio was 25, however, he received some bad news. His father and uncle in Spain had both been defeated in battle,
Uh-oh.
and shockingly, both of them were killed.
Uh-oh.
The news must have been devastating for the young Scipio, but it was also devastating for Rome, as almost all of their Spanish gains were wiped away. Okay, listen up! We need someone to go and replace the Scipios in Spain. So, who's up for it? Come on, who's gonna go? Fabius, Spain seems unwinnable. There's no glory to be had there. Yeah, the glory is here, defending the homeland from Hannibal. Well, somebody has to go. I said, well, somebody has to go.
There he is. Put me in, coach. Put me in.
Scipio was eager to be the one to go and replace his father and uncle in Spain.
Makes sense.
However, there was concern amongst the older senators. You're only 26. You can't lead a military campaign.
What the fuck? That's Unk age. He can lead a military campaign.
He's right. That's a good point. And you're 71. You can't stand up without a little urine dribbling down your leg. Scipio didn't meet the typical requirements for the position, but as the only person willing to go, this young piece of hot Roman meat was unanimously elected proconsul and sent to lead the Roman armies in Spain. He hoped to carry out a campaign as impressive as Hannibal's had been in Italy. In fact, Scipio rather admired the one-eyed general. Scipio, you've got a Hannibal poster in your room. Yes, but
I'm
he's the enemy.
dead.
I'll let you in on a secret, Billy. You know how we're gonna win this war? By marching straight at the enemy? No, that's the old way. We've gotta be less Roman and a little more Hannibal. Hey, by the way, don't just barge into my room. That's an infringement of my privacy. Privacy? Privacy, you say? Well, Scipio, if it's privacy you want, then you, my friend, need more.
NordVPN! Oh my god! Oh my gosh. He integrates these ads so well, I don't realize it's an ad until I see the subtitles.
Don't touch me. How would you like to be innocently downloading inspirational photos of Nicolas Cage, only to realize it's malware stealing your data and telling all your friends you still sleep between your parents because of scowy dweems? Yeah, didn't think so. And that's why you need NordVPN. With a single click, NordVPN connects you to secure servers around the world, keeping you safe from malware and other online threats. Their Threat Protection Pro features go the extra mile in preventing your data being stolen by scanning your downloads for malware, blocking malicious websites, and even detecting fake online shops. DolceandBanana.com?
Dude, that's why I'm scared of fake shops.
That's not all. With NordVPN, you're not just protected, you can also unlock better deals in other regions and access content that isn't available in your country. So get protected today by heading to nordvpn.com/oversimplified and grab an exclusive deal with 4 extra months for free.
4 extra? That's a lot.
/oversimplified. And as always, you'll be supporting my channel.
Why am I banana? I'm Mochi.
Now, where were we? Oh yeah. Hannibal contained a young piece of hot Roman meat sent to lead the Roman armies in Spain. Scipio was charismatic, extremely confident.
How's the wife?
And probably most importantly of all, he thought differently from other Roman generals. So Skippy, what's the plan? Don't call me that. We're Roman, so same thing as usual, right? We march straight at the enemy, right? Get this, Billy. No, we don't.
Innovation. This is innovative.
Scipio was a real outside-the-box thinker. There were 3 main Carthaginian armies in Spain, 2 led by Hannibal's brothers, Hasdrubal and Mago, and another led by Hasdrubal Gisco. Most Roman generals might have looked at these armies and said, I just gotta, march straight at these guys and kick their ass and stuff. But not Scipio. At a time when many believed winning battles won wars, one of Scipio's greatest strengths was an ability to see the overall strategy behind his actions.
He's a thinker, chat. A thinker.
He knew that Spain was the closest thing Hannibal had to a base of support. With its mass resources and manpower, it's where Hannibal likely hoped to get supplies and reinforcements from. Spain's base of support was the city of New Carthage, the most fortified city on the peninsula, perfectly positioned to communicate with and receive supplies from Africa. And so, if Scipio managed to take New Carthage, he could take Spain. And if he took Spain, then maybe Hannibal would fall. To Scipio, Spain wasn't
That's smart. That's smart. Okay, I see you. I see you, Scipio. I see it.
just some sideshow. It was the main show, and it all rested on New Carthage. But a surprise attack on Carthage's capital city in Spain? It was a ridiculous idea. Even if you pull off the 7-day forced march past the Carthaginian armies to New Carthage. Once you get there, you'd only have a couple weeks to take the city before the Carthaginians arrived to kick your ass. Sieges of cities that fortified usually took months, if not years. So, Scipio, how are you gonna pull this off?
Trojan horse. Maybe. Is a Trojan horse real? I guess we'll see.
Well, first of all, to make sure the surprise plan stayed hidden, Scipio kept it a total secret, even from his own men.
That's kind of smart.
I'm not telling you. Is it Disneyland? I'm not.
You just let it out without telling them?
Telling you. I think that means we're going to Disneyland. This secrecy kept the Carthaginians from preemptively reinforcing the city. As a result, New Carthage was left under garrisoned because the Carthaginians believed it to be kind of naturally impenetrable. It was surrounded on 3 sides by a lagoon and only accessible via a narrow isthmus. What's an isthmus, you ask? Maybe read a book. Scipio, you made it to New Carthage. Now the other Carthaginian armies are only a 10 days march from coming and kicking your ass. Just what were you thinking? Well, Scipio had learned something crucial. Every afternoon, the tides made the lagoon around New Carthage briefly shallow enough to cross.
Wait, that's so smart.
So, he ordered a large diversionary attack on the main city gates, distracting the city's defenders. Then, a small infiltration force traversed the lagoon, climbed the unguarded northern walls,
and
entered the city.
That's so smart. Wow, they just walked on water. Holy. Like Moses.
They ambushed the guards and opened the city gates to the rest of Scipio's army. And just like that, New Carthage had fallen.
That was so
In a
easy.
single day, Scipio
Wow.
had taken Carthage's capital city in Spain, and he made it look easy. With it, he seized much of Carthage's war supplies, several silver mines near the city, and various powerful Iberian
Chills.
tribes even joined his side. And now he was in a great position to take on the other Carthaginian armies in Spain. Wow, Skippy, you're amazing. Don't call me that. How'd you know the lagoon would get shallow? It's almost like you speak to the gods. No, I told him. All the local farmers know about the yes, that's it. I speak to the gods. Wow! Scipio had no problem allowing his men to think he was divinely inspired. Roman writers also tell us another of Scipio's trait.
Damn, he's really smart.
He was apparently quite merciful in victory and often
Merciful.
protected the inhabitants of captured cities. Spencer! What are you doing? Well, I was just about to murder this family. Hey, bad Spencer! No! Can I at least kill the dad? No! What about the... No! Oh, you're mean! The Carthaginian generals in the region must have been shocked at the loss of their capital city. There was now a Terminator in Spain, and he was coming.
Uh-oh.
In 208 BC, he made a move on Hasdrubal, hoping to defeat him before the other Carthaginian armies could come and link up. When Hasdrubal heard Scipio was coming, he said, Hasdrubal did the sensible thing and climbed a big hill for safety. Hey, get down here. I want to kill you. Fat chance, Vin Diesel. Well, he doesn't have to be rude. So what's the plan then, Scipio? This time, we march straight up and at him. Right? Right, Scipio? Billy? No. Scipio.
The fucking Romans one strat, which is just to like brute force their way through, is kind of impressive. I think Scipio is kind of like the Hannibal that Rome needed. This is impressive.
Once again displayed a distinctly not Roman approach to fighting, when instead of marching straight up and at him, Scipio feigned a frontal skirmish, only to pull off a surprise uphill envelopment. Not an easy thing to do, but Scipio had trained his army to pull off maneuvers that typical Roman armies couldn't. After the battle, the defeated Hasdrubal fled Spain, hoping to link up with his brother Hannibal in Italy. And Hannibal desperately needed the help, as
Is he gonna cross the Alps? How is he gonna link up from that direction?
Scipio was dominating in Spain. Hannibal's struggles in southern Italy continued. He was convinced that if he just received ample supplies and reinforcements, he could reverse his fortunes and get back to kicking Rome's ass. But for the remainder of the war, he would suffer a frustrating lack of support from the Carthaginian Senate. After Cannae, Hannibal had sent his brother Mago to Carthage, where he famously poured out golden rings taken from fallen Roman knights. He told the Senate that with reinforcements, Hannibal could finish the job. But a growing faction in the Senate, possibly jealous of Hannibal's rising influence, opposed sending any help.
Cucks. I feel like the Senate has made me pissed. Like, they made me so angry in the first pubic wars, and now they're still pubing. Oh my god, thank you so much for the raid, Daya. Cuckchi, shut up. Thank you for taking care of Mochi's right. Chat, don't talk to the enemy. Chat. You're evil. Cucked. I'm not a cuck. I promise. I love not being cucked. Cuck champion. That was an accident, chat. You know it was an accident. Alright, buckle down, chat. Buckle down. Let's continue the Punic Wars. Let's crash out about the Senate. The Senate's trolling.
In the end, a large number of the reinforcements gathered for Hannibal now ended up being diverted to stop Scipio in Spain. Just as he had hoped, Scipio's campaign in Spain was actively harming Hannibal in Italy. However, those reinforcements meant that when Scipio made a move on the remaining Carthaginian armies in Spain, they now likely outnumbered him. With the odds heavily stacked against him, it would take some serious skill to win this battle. This time we're gonna march straight at them, right? No, Billy! The preceding Battle of Alipa is often considered Scipio's masterpiece because it was positively oozing with deception and trickery. First, both sides spent several days forming up and facing off without actually fighting. On each day, Scipio placed his strongest Roman legions in the center with his weaker Iberian allies on the sides. Seeing this, the Carthaginians were like, "This guy's an idiot. We've seen his plan. His strongest troops are going to be in the center, so let's..."
Oh my god, he's gonna switch it up! How is he so smart? Yeah, chill! Sorry, I'm predicting it, but oh my gosh!
form all of our battle plans based
Chill.
on this information. I'm sure he won't change anything at the last minute. Then, when the day of battle came, Scipio woke up the Carthaginians with an early morning attack, causing them to rush out of camp without breakfast. When the Carthaginians lined up with their
That's literally what Hannibal did!
strongest troops in the center to meet Scipio's, they were stunned to find that Scipio had completely reversed his order. The weaker Carthaginian sides now found Scipio's strongest bearing down on them. Then, in an extremely impressive maneuver, the well-trained Roman wings even stretched out during their approach, hitting the Carthaginians from the sides. The Carthaginian center could have turned to
Dang.
help, but Scipio had ordered his center to approach so slowly that Carthage's center could do nothing but just stand and wait. In this way, the outnumbered Scipio
Holy crap, these are like the arrows in Undertale, dude. Like, you know what I'm talking about? Those slow arrows are coming and I'm just staring at them so I get hit by all the other arrows. I see it! I see it!
had cleverly controlled events so that the bulk of the strongest Carthaginian troops couldn't even fight during the battle. He had completely removed them from the equation. The incredible Scipio had inflicted a monumental defeat on a much larger enemy force. And the Battle of Alipa was the final nail in the coffin for Carthaginian Spain. Yet more tribespeople continued to side with the Romans, and the remaining Carthaginians retreated to the coast and eventually fled the peninsula.
Dang! Scipio, man, dang!
And would you look at that? In just a few years, the incredible young Scipio had turned Spain completely red. The Carthaginians must have been stunned. His Spanish campaign had almost been as impressive as Hannibal's campaign in Italy. In fact, see if any of this sounds familiar. In Spain, Scipio had used the environment of the battlefield to his advantage. He staged ambushes
He's a
by concealed
fan.
troops. He treated local tribespeople well, earning their friendship. He even once forced his enemy to come out and fight him without breakfast. Each and every one of these tactics.
I want to see the... I don't know if it's going to happen, chat. I'm just trying to predict the next episode. But I want to see... are him and Hannibal going to face off? I need to see who wins. For real.
Were possibly borrowed from a certain one-eyed general. In all the battles Scipio had fought against Hannibal, it seemed he may have been taking notes.
Hey! Scipio!
What?
Stop stealing my tactics!
I'm 700 miles away. I can't hear you.
What did you say?
What?
What?
Better yet, Scipio's achievement in taking a well-fortified city, plus his understanding of the overall strategy, has led some historians to argue he wasn't just as good as Hannibal. Scipio may actually have been better. This young man, who many in Rome had doubted, had just shut those silly billies. Right, the flip up.
Silly Billy.
Mere years ago, it looked like Rome had no chance of even surviving this war. But now, the momentum of war was shifting astonishingly fast. And for Hannibal in Italy,
This is just like when the Romans copied their boats, dude. They can't stop stealing for the Carthaginians. But it's working.
things continued to head south. Before Scipio had even gone to Spain, the Romans had placed Capua, Hannibal's largest city in Italy, under a dangerous siege. And in order to rescue it, Hannibal needed to take drastic action. Fast. Man, everything's falling apart. Fine, I'll do it. Do what? Yeah, you've convinced me. I'll march on Rome. Hannibal, that conversation was 5 years ago. It's too late. No one's trying to convince you to march on Rome.
I said I'll do it!
Quit nagging me! Ugh. Hannibal finally
Dang.
marched on Rome, hoping it might draw the Romans away from Capua. The Romans saw Hannibal approaching their city, and they freaked the hell out. Hannibal is said to have closely approached the city walls, inspecting the defenses, as the Romans inside quivered in their togas. However, Hannibal probably knew he had no chance of taking the city. The whole thing was a feint, and Hannibal soon left.
I'm
The
dead.
Romans famously coined the phrase, Hannibal is at the gates, to describe a moment of crisis or severe desperation. But for accuracy's sake, the phrase should probably be, Hannibal is at the gates. But don't worry, it's just a feint to draw the Romans away from Capua. And it didn't even work, because the Romans stayed at Capua, and the Capuans misunderstood and thought Hannibal had abandoned them. And so
No!
they surrendered the city. But apparently that's not as catchy. Despite a few successes, including
Sorry, I didn't realize he was still doing a quote. I'm a genius, honestly.
an ambush in 208 BC, where Hannibal managed to kill both consuls in one go, Hannibal was slowly but steadily losing his grip on southern Italy. Even Hasdrubal, who had fled Spain to join Hannibal, never reached his brother. He made his own dramatic crossing of the Alps, just as Hannibal had done. But unlike Hannibal, the second Hasdrubal arrived in Italy, he was immediately pulverized. The
Damn.
Romans then took his head and threw it over the walls into his brother's camp. Hannibal was
That's
becoming
crazy.
extremely isolated. After
What
his
the
impressive
fuck? That's some brutal shit. That head must have been rotting. Oh my gosh.
conquest of Spain, Scipio returned
They
to
are
Rome a
trolling.
hero. And when the election came for next year's consuls, despite not meeting the typical requirements, Scipio won in a landslide. But the question now was, what would he do next? All right, what's your plan then, Scipio? You're gonna go fight Hannibal now, right? Get this, Fabius. No. Scipio's plan remained the same as before. Don't attack the monster directly. Attack his base of support, which now happened to be Carthage itself. That's
Oh.
right, Scipio would invade Africa. However, Scipio understood that any invasion of Africa would stand a much better chance if he could secure an alliance with one of the African tribes. Throughout the war, Carthage's far superior Numidian cavalry, which came from this part of Africa, had played a critical role in winning battles.
The horses!
Numidia was divided between two rival kings. In the east, the king Syphax had sympathized with Rome for much of the war. And so at some point, Scipio visited Syphax to ratify a treaty. It just so happened, however, that the Carthaginian general Hasdrubal Gisco
Oh, this is awkward. Wow, this is really awkward, isn't it? I can already see this is gonna be a tad weird.
whom Scipio had fought in Spain, also arrived at the exact same time. And so Syphax invited both Scipio and Gisco for a meal. The two men fought for Syphax's alliance, and by Roman accounts, Scipio was positively charming. Come on, Syphax, stick with us Romans. We'll build a naked statue of you. Very enticing. If you join our side, Syphax, we'll give you a 2% discount on figs. You like figs, don't you?
I'm dead.
Not really. Hey, Syphax, check this out. Wow! Hey, Syphax, check this out.
Ooh.
Did he just
Boo.
defecate? I believe he did. Well, Scipio, you clearly are the most charming man in the Mediterranean. My alliance is... Syphax, I'll let you marry my extremely hot daughter. Yo!
Oh man. Oh, unfortunately, no matter how charming that man was, he was not gonna win against a woman. Heart of the deal.
Humana. Unable to compete with Syphax's libido,
I'm
Scipio
10.
instead made contact with Syphax's rival, the other Numidian king, Massinissa, who was a longtime ally of Carthage. Scipio told Massinissa, if you join the Romans, I'll help you defeat Syphax and become the ultimate Numidian king. And so Massinissa was now on Team Rome. Good job, Skippy. With a Numidian alliance solidified, Scipio prepared for his invasion of Africa. He raised a volunteer force that included many of the disgraced survivors from Cannae, and he set sail. Well, Terry, any news from Italy? Has Hannibal won the war yet?
Who on earth?
Run! Run!
Here's Skippy!
The Roman landing sent a clear message to the Carthaginians. You don't invade us. No, no. We invade you. For the first time in the war, the Carthaginian homeland was under threat, and the Carthaginians needed to defeat Scipio at all costs. They gathered a huge army led by Hasdrubal Gisco, with allied Numidians led by Syphax, and they ordered them to get Scipio the hell off their continent. Sources.
This is fucking crazy, dude. Oh, I thought Hannibal was winning it, but part 3 has changed my opinions. He might be in a pickle.
Point. Scipio was severely outnumbered. Scipio? That army's huge. There's no way we can beat off all these men. How are we gonna beat off all these men? Vigorously. And while maintaining eye contact. As always, Scipio had a plan to deal with the larger enemy force. It just so happened that Syphax was offering to try and broker peace between the Romans and the Carthaginians. And Scipio smelled an opportunity. He sent a Roman envoy to Syphax's camp. And when they got there, Syphax was like, "Hey guys, welcome to the enemy camp. Just before we begin negotiations, a small safety demonstration. As you can see,
They're gonna murder them at the negotiation? Are they? I don't know, but that's gonna be brutal. That's pretty
our huts are
brutal.
made of grass and reeds. Very flammable. If there was even a single spark, this whole place would become a raging inferno. And all my men would
Oh, never mind. They're getting
burn
info. They're getting
alive.
info.
Very interesting. The Roman troops then reported back to Scipio.
Okay, they're just getting info. Sorry, they're not that barbaric. Well, it's still pretty barbaric to burn people alive, but they at least they didn't murder them that day.
The Numidian camp, its
Write that
construction,
down.
and most importantly, its flammability. Then, the following night, as the sun was setting over
Oh,
the
man.
beautiful African plains, and the Carthaginians got all comfy in their beds, they began to gently dream of Carthaginian figs and child sacrifice. Good night, Carthaginians. Good night, Syphax and Gisco. Good evening, Scipio. In the night, shadowy Roman figures approached the Numidian camp. As the Numidians lay in their beds, Scipio executed his plan.
Crazy.
The camp erupted into flames with the flammable wooden
Crazy.
huts. The fires spread terrifyingly fast. Men were burned in their beds. Those who awoke in a panic, believing the fire to have been some kind of terrible accident, rushed to the exits without their weapons and armor.
no!
Those who saw the fire from the Carthaginian camp also rushed out unarmed. And when they got there he was.
Oh my
Scipio,
god!
the
Wow, that is evil. That's so evil. That's so not Roman. That's not Roman of them. That's
and their steel.
Dang.
The terrified Carthaginians were massacred, and with heavy casualties, Hasdrubal and Syphax fled the scene of the disaster. Scipio followed this incredible success with another victory against the pair at the Battle of the Great Plains. After that, Massinissa chased his rival Syphax into his kingdom, where Syphax was captured. Massinissa was now the ultimate Numidian king. He entered Syphax's capital city. He seized Syphax's palace. He even married Syphax's wife.
Damn! What the fuck? Now that's too far. Whoa! Cockery! Outplayed.
And when Scipio got mad at him for marrying a Carthaginian girl, he then poisoned his wife.
What? Oh my god! What the fuck? What? That's evil! That's fucking crazy! That's evil to pretty people alive! Poisoning a beautiful lady? What? Damn. They really said bros before hoes.
Boys will be boys. Having defeated the Carthaginian armies in Africa,
Wow! Sorry, I'm actually shocked.
almost nothing now stood between Scipio and Carthage. And the Carthaginians were freaking out. What do we do? What do we do? There's only one thing left to do. Recall him. Well, Hannibal, you've been here in Italy for 16 years. This
Oh
is
my
practically
God.
your home. You're basically Italian. Yes, Gerald, and I've had such a lovely time. I ate spaghetti, did this with my hands. I've committed my whole life to this campaign, and once Rome has fallen, it'll all have been worth it.
Hannibal, you have to return to Carthage. Your Italian campaign has been for nothing. Your whole life has been a waste.
What?
No!
Imagine being Hannibal in this moment. You left Carthage when you were 9. You probably barely even recognize your own homeland. The kingdom he had built in Spain with his father? Gone. And now his Italian campaign, his vengeance. Was it really all for nothing? But that was that. Carthage was under threat, and Hannibal had to protect his home city. As
Damn, he
Italy,
left.
in Rome, there was celebration, but also some trepidation. Now, Scipio would have to face Hannibal in Africa, where Hannibal would have home advantage. While Hannibal was on his way, the Carthaginians stalled for time and approached Scipio for peace talks. Hey, look, we never meant to start an all-out 2-decade-long war, but
I'm
you
dead.
did. No, that was Hannibal. He's to blame for all of this. Well, all right then. Sign this peace treaty. Okay, let me just get my signature right on there.
He's here. Yes!
That's so funny. I love the pacing OverSimplified does.
Oh, look who's here, you bald prick!
You're so dead now, Skippy. Don't
Call me that!
After Carthage proposed peace, only to then go back on it, the normally merciful Scipio was enraged. He began refusing to accept town's surrender, and instead began burning everything to the ground, selling everyone into slavery.
Dang!
He's burning our towns! Go stop him! Guys, he's obviously trying to lure me out there to fight on those flat plains, where his Numidian cavalry will give him the advantage. It's a trick. Well, it's working. Go and fight him! It's obviously a trap, and we're falling for it. Go and fight him! Hannibal set out to meet Scipio
There's no way!
in the western plains. And here came Scipio's
Crazy
final
crash out.
test. Finally, the teacher would face the
Yes,
student,
I was waiting for
the
this.
2 greatest generals of all time, in one last, decisive battle. Would Hannibal's genius still shine through? Or would Scipio prove that he had surpassed the master? Before battle, the 2 great generals rode out
Oh, sorry. I think he's telling me, but I thought he was gonna tell me right away. I'm getting blue-balled.
from their camps and met in person for the first time.
Hannibal, I'm a huge fan.
I thought you'd have more hair, and I thought you'd have more eyes. Touché. They then had a conversation, which I'll paraphrase. Hannibal said, "At the start of this war, I had great fortune in Italy. But look at me now, a sad old man who, like other sad old men, failed to conquer Rome. Your fortune can change rapidly, Scipio. You should consider negotiating a peace rather than risking it all in one last fight against me." Very eloquently put. Scipio then replied,
Q! Negotiate? Negotiate what? I took Spain. I'm about to burn your pathetic city to the ground. What could you offer me in negotiations? I already have it all! Ah!
Seriously though, Hannibal, I am such a big fan. And so, it was settled. The 2 great generals would face off one last time in the epic Battle of Zama.
Zama.
Scipio gave his men, consisting of many survivors from
Oh god, I can't tell who's gonna win. I feel like Scipio or Scorpio, Skippy has the advantage. I feel like Hannibal's pretty demoralized. Kind of hasn't been doing too great, so I feel like they have the advantage. But I don't know, maybe Hannibal might have his anime moment.
Cannae, a pre-battle speech, telling them not only would they gain redemption, but they could become masters of the world. Hannibal told his men probably nothing, because most of them
Anime
didn't really speak
moment.
the same language. As the
Come
2
on, let's
armies
see it.
lined up for battle, something interesting became clear. Hannibal had more infantry and hoped to use them to brute strength the Romans. But Scipio had the nimble Numidian cavalry and hoped to pull off an envelopment. It was a complete role reversal of
Holy crap, that's so cinematic. That's such a story come full circle.
Can I? As the battle began, Hannibal made his first move. He sent his 80 war elephants to smash through and weaken the Roman infantry. Scipio had the perfect response.
Oh
He had
no.
altered his formation to create passages between the Roman maniples. His light troops stepped aside at the right moment, revealing the gaps ahead of the charging elephants. Elephants, if given the choice between a suicide charge into spears or a nice clean escape, will probably choose the escape. And that's what happened.
These fucking elephants, stop using them. I've never seen these elephants come clutcho yet. What?
Some elephants were so frightened from the noise that they even turned and smashed back into the Carthaginian cavalry,
man.
which the Roman cavalry then engaged. Your move, Hannibal. Hannibal wasn't an idiot. He knew that he was fighting superior Numidian cavalry on open plains. So when his weaker cavalry ended up being routed from the battlefield, he probably wasn't surprised and hoped the Roman cavalry would be lured as far from the battlefield as possible because his infantry needed time to do a clever little job. Hannibal had the numerical advantage, and he had positioned his army in 3 lines. The weaker troops were at the front, while his best men, the army that had been with him in Italy, were in the rear.
Oh.
As the Romans smashed into the weaker front lines, they managed to cut through them, but suffered losses and exhaustion in doing so. The same with Hannibal's second line.
Oh, chill. He's thinking. He's using his brain. He's not a great general for no reason.
So that by the time the Romans reached Hannibal's superior third line, the two sides may have now been about equal in number. But the exhausted Romans had just fought an entire battle to get there, while the remaining Carthaginians were fresh and ready to go.
Out the fridge.
Hannibal was still a genius. And this is where the final race began. Could Hannibal's stronger infantry finish off the Romans before the Roman cavalry returned from their pursuit? Who would be quicker, the Carthaginian infantry or the Roman cavalry? The answer: the cavalry. They had called off their pursuit just in
I don't know. I'm trying to root for Hannibal. I'm sick of these Romans winning. They always win. Ah! I need my underdogs to win. The Uma Musumes are stronger.
time to turn around and hit Hannibal
Damn.
from the rear. And that was the deciding move. As the sandwiched Carthaginians were hacked to pieces, Hannibal knew he had lost, and he escaped the battlefield. It was a battle that some historians say was well
Chills.
fought on both sides. Both showed their genius, but fortune fell in the favor of Scipio. With just a few thousand Roman casualties compared to 40,000 Carthaginians, Scipio had won. Hannibal advised the Carthaginian Senate that it was time to surrender. 17 years of war, finally over. The terms Rome placed on Carthage were harsh. They lost territory and were prohibited
Again? Like, they were already harsh the first time. We're in round 2.
from starting any more wars with anyone without Rome's explicit permission. Carthage basically became a weak Roman client state. And what of these two military geniuses? Well, Scipio returned to Rome triumphant. For his victory in Africa, he was given the title Scipio Africanus. He had delivered
that's
Rome
where the
from
title
an
comes from.
existential threat.
I was wondering where the Africanus comes from. I'm like, why did it what?
And so,
Like, aren't we in Rome?
from here on out, he was primed to dominate Roman politics. He was even offered to become consul for life,
For
but he humbly
life?
refused. Politics being what it is, however, jealousy eventually grew.
I'm dead.
Scipio and his family ended up battling accusations of corruption, and Scipio possibly becoming tired of Roman politics.
What's up with these random old unks being jealous of these young military leaders? I'm sick of it. I'm sick of the Carthaginian said it the same thing. Stop! You're inting for fun.
Retired to a nice country house by the coast. Hannibal also took a leading role in Carthaginian politics after the war. But again, due to jealousy,
Oh my god!
factionalism, and a possibility of arrest by the Romans. He eventually entered exile. He spent the remainder of his years out east, even advising enemies of Rome. Rome's hatred of Hannibal endured, and they never stopped hoping to someday capture the monster. One story is told of how when
Reward a pat on the head. What the heck? Where's the play? Whoa, what's happening? What's happening?
chilling in the city of Ephesus, nationalism, and a possibility of his years out east, even advising enemies of Rome. Rome's hatred of Hannibal endured, and they never stopped hoping to someday capture the monster. One story is told of how when a much
Generational
older
hating.
Hannibal was chilling in the city of Ephesus, a Roman delegation was sent to the city, and in that delegation was Scipio Africanus.
Whoa.
The two men met for the second time, and they seemed to have gotten along quite well. Scipio asked Hannibal who he thought the three greatest generals of all time were. Hannibal placed Alexander the Great in number 1, Pyrrhus
I forgot about
of
the guy.
Epirus in number 2,
Who the fuck?
and in third place, himself. Scipio then asked, "And what if you had defeated me at Zama?" "Well, Scipio, then I would have been the greatest general of all time. Please, call me Skippy." Eventually, around 183 BC, Hannibal, now in his 60s, came under threat of Roman capture. After a long life, he chose to take some poison. According to Livy, his last words, "Let us now relieve the Romans of the anxiety they have so long experienced, since they think it tries their patience too much to wait for an old man's death." Wow,
Damn.
Hannibal, what a dignified
Cinema.
end. Gross. And there you have it. The Second Punic War. Finally done. It took 17 years to end the war. And on a
Dang.
personal note, making these videos has also taken 17 years off my life.
No.
Carthage began to recover from the war shockingly fast, however, and anxieties over
No!
Carthage would remain in Rome. In particular, one senator would begin calling for one last crusade against Carthage to end the threat once and for all. He famously began to end all of his speeches with one singular phrase, one of the most famous phrases in Roman history.
I'm not gonna try to read that. Carthage must be destroyed. What the fuck? Can't the Romans chill out? Why is Rome so angry, man? Rome is so angry about this little people, man. Holy crap! There's actually a third war. I thought some people in chat were just debating me. There's gonna be a third war. That's crazy. Are we not tired? I mean, I'm not tired. I mean, I love hearing about this, but I can't imagine. Like, they're not tired. They want to keep going. Generational hatred. That is insane. Thank you guys so much for watching the second Punic War with me, and thank you so much OverSimplified for making a video and allowing us to react to it. Thank you. That was a lot of fun, and I am looking forward to seeing the third and final one, right? I hope it's the final one. We'll see. I'll see you guys on the next react. Mwah!